Greetings, fellow Earthlings. I'm John Petersen, and this is the Great Debate Community Channel. Always like to start every broadcast with thanking Steve for allowing me to do this each week. And Steve just finished a live stream. They were talking about the result of the very awesome result of his lawsuit. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch too much of that. I was busy doing living things, and I am broadcasting through my phone here. Okay, so I want to welcome anybody that's coming over here from Steve's stream, and thank you so much to Steve for mentioning this during his stream. And he had me put the link in the live chat a couple times for this, and I put a GoFundMe link in the live chat that we'll talk about here in a couple of minutes. And just want to say hello to, before I say hello to the panel, I just want to say hello to Quisa for stopping over, Native Atheist, Veteran Pain. I hope I'm saying that right. Dave McGinnis is here in the house. Oshkosh Bagosh, Bajosh, and Glitch. Oh, wow, Glitch. I love your channel, man. So, look, as it said in the description of the thumbnail, we're here to talk about some Trump issues and the impeachment. But the main reason that we're here tonight is, unfortunately, one of our own needs our help. Kyle Puffalupagus, Puff on the screen there. In his window, it says his father passed suddenly last week, and he is having a really tough time coming up with the money for the burial costs. He has a GoFundMe, and the link to the GoFundMe is in the video description. I will also post it several times in the live chat. As a matter of fact, Dave McGinnis, you're in the live chat. I know you were posting it when you and I were watching In Time, and in the live chat of that. If you could, he already did. He did it once. Yeah, I figured he would. And if you could, do that a few times while you're here, and I will make sure and do it a few times. And so, just to start with, I want to welcome Kyle, and I'm so sorry for your loss, Kyle.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate it, and the thing is, I'm. The only thing, it's just like it's hard to not feel selfish, right? Like, because you just want a couple more days, a little more time, one more conversation, But then I feel like selfish, you know what I mean? So and that's the thing. It's like this is the thing, is it's not about me, really. If it was just a matter of struggling and doing this, then that'd be fine. But the thing is, the situation is that when he passed, nothing was prepared for this to happen. And so while I was the one that was taking care of him, he was living with me, all of his addresses were with me, nothing had been converted to where I could take care of the execution of his estate. And none of my other brothers are capable, none of my other family members are in a position to do it whatsoever, period, because they all have things that they're taking care of, that they're doing. That's why he came to live with me. And so, but I just wasn't ready for this to happen. And everything that I was told that was going to be there to take care of the situation either can't be found or seems to never have existed. So that's kind of the situation I'm in. It's kind of a sucky situation, but just where I'm at.
Well, and as I've said in other instances of this, that that's one of the reasons why we have a community here is, if everybody just pitches in a little bit, then we can really help Puff out. I mean, if you're able to help him out substantially, then please do. Some of us are in a position to do that. Maybe some of us could only maybe skip Starbucks once next week or something and kick in 5 or something like that. But if everybody just helps out a little bit, then we can help get Kyle through this as far as the financial part of it goes, of burying his father. And I'm sure that he would appreciate any words of encouragement to help him get through the psychological and the grieving part of it. Because I know I lost my father years ago. And as a matter of fact, I'm 55, so I lost my father 36 years ago. And there's still never a day that's not on my mind, even 36 years later. So I can appreciate what you're going through, Kyle, but maybe not quite as fresh as how you're feeling it right now. So please, everybody, help with what you can. Now, Kyle is a bit of a political junkie as well, so we're going to try and get his mind off the bad situation as much as we can tonight. We're going to talk about Trump and impeachment, and we're also joined tonight by Progressive Liberal and Ansgar Odinson. Hello, Ethan.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
Good. And Ansgar, how are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. Starting to get a cold, so I'm not 100%, but I could be a lot worse.
Well, I'm great. I'm just so glad we're doing this in cyber world then if you're getting sick. But now we were going to be joined by Nick Soutter and Jim Majors as well. Both of them are having computer issues right now. Nick said he may pop in a little later if he's able to resolve those, and Jim as well. But as a matter of fact, if there is anybody that we know in the live chat right now, and you want to come in and put your 2 cents in, or maybe say something to Kyle, just tag the Great Debate community in the live chat. And folks that are here on the panel with me, since I am old and slow, try and help me keep track of that if any of you are looking at the live chat right now, and if anybody does tag and say they'd want to come in. But so like I said, we're here tonight chiefly to help Puff out, but we do want to talk about the situation with Trump. Before we do that, I want to just mention real quick, tomorrow I'm going to be on a Raging Atheist at noon with Faye the Most Gracious, and she is an ex-Muslim activist, and you don't want to miss that. She is just one super delightful human being. And then if Nick gets his computer issues worked out, tomorrow at 4 on the Amateur Conversationalist, he will be episode number 6. And we will be talking about, oh man, I just keep having everything go off here. And we will be talking about something very interesting about Nick that I'm sure that a lot of people in the community aren't aware of. And so please be there for that 4 o'clock tomorrow on the Amateur Conversationalist. And so again, Trump, impeachment. Everybody that's here has been talking about this in time. A simulcast yesterday on their channel in the GDC and talked about this. I believe Ethan's talked about it a few times this week, or a couple times this week, on his channel as well as others. And
I don't believe Ethan would have anything to say on the subject.
yeah. That is, oh man, is that funny shit. So look, just the 2 things that struck me in the last week, just to get the ball rolling, and then you guys, take off with yours. I was really taken by Biden's press conference. It didn't seem like he pulled any punches in that press conference. Not saying any one way or the other whether I feel as if he's the candidate, but he did clap back at Trump pretty seriously. And then the other thing that struck me was the unhinged performance by President Trump during that press conference with the president of Finland. And I think his actions during that press conference just epitomizes the antithesis of presidential, and just highlights what an unhinged individual he is. But go ahead, Ethan. Since you don't talk much about this subject, kick it off.
Okay, I'd like to read you this quote from Donald Trump. This is September 8th, 2015. When I look at myself in the first grade and I look at myself now, I'm basically the same. There you go.
There. All right, folks. Thanks for being here tonight.
That's not very comforting.
No. He is an unhinged, unprepared, unscrupulous criminal, piece of orange human garbage.
Sounds like you might have some opinions on Trump.
I have a few opinions.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel, Ethan.
About 2 hours ago, he said that the reason that he called Ukraine, the president of Ukraine, and tried to pressure him into investigating the Bidens, wasn't because he wanted to, but it was because Secretary of Energy Rick Perry told him to, or made him, or something. If it was a perfect call, innocent people don't have perfect phone calls and then blame other people for making them make perfect phone calls. He committed a crime, and we talked about that on In Time yesterday. And he committed a crime. It's not subjective. It's not my opinion. What the law says is that you cannot solicit help from a foreign national.
Right. You're absolutely right. And I see Kyle has his hand raised. I think you triggered him with something you said there. But
no,
I'm making a joke, Kyle. I'm making a joke. But just real quick, we'll go to Kyle. But I just want to point out too, dovetailing on what Ethan just said, is this narrative that the transcript of the phone call does not match the whistleblower complaint is totally and utterly fallacious. It matches it perfectly. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask Ethan, how though? Because I just watched the president yesterday. I watched him on the White House lawn say that he not only did he ask Ukraine to investigate it because it's a crime, it's got to be investigated. Right. And it's just wrong. Right.
Right.
He then asked the Chinese to investigate the thing that just happened now with Biden. And
that one hinged on the trade deal.
And then the Chinese confirmed that because they said when he asked them, they said, we'd rather not get involved in your affairs.
Right.
But, I forgot. And what he's saying right now is the real news.
Right. Yes. Yeah. This story has only changed 7 or 8 times. That's how you know it's the truth.
And Rick Perry, the guy who they can't take a picture of to make him look like he could pass the 3rd grade. That guy concocted this mastermind scheme.
Apparently, according to Trump a little while ago. Yeah. It's all Rick Perry's.
But have you guys ever stopped to think that maybe you're all just fake news? Fake news.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm fake news because gingers don't have a soul. So
right.
I wish Jim. I was just going to say I wish Jim had been able to make it because he does a pretty spot on Trump impersonation.
He does.
He was going to avail us of that. So. Yeah, I'd like to hear him.
Sucks pretty badly, but yeah.
I mean, if I had some long PVC tube, I could have made like a 3-footer, and then I could pull off my Trump where I just look clueless.
Yeah, that'll work. We did a stream. Thursday night stream was called "Did Trump Actually Break the Law?" We spent a whole hour reading the law, talking about the history of the law and what the FEC is and how the FEC enforces the law, and then what Trump did and how it compared to the law. And I think we proved pretty conducively that Trump broke the law. I don't see any. I don't see any room for it. The only defense, I guess, was Marco Rubio saying, "Well, he was joking." It was just jokes.
You know what I joke about all the time?
Yeah, go ahead.
International crimes.
Right. Sure. And who doesn't really?
Also, what I like to also joke about
Mhm.
is undermining the democratic process of the
Mhm.
nation of which I am the elected leader of.
Hilarious.
Because
I
you
mean-
know what? You know, it's the only thing more funnier than that.
Mhm.
Human trafficking and
Oh, yeah.
trapping children into cages.
Absolutely. No,
These are-
no.
You don't make
Yeah.
jokes about this at work? I do.
I mean, you're like the Chris Rock of comedians.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, man.
Dave
Chappelle asked me to write some jokes, so I did.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, it's, I have seen these narratives. I've seen these excuses that it was this or it was that. It was quid pro quo.
Oh, David McGinnis. When
Hmm.
Melania pretends to be asleep, it's called a fake snooze.
Oh, but don't bum.
Mm.
All right, Dave.
I like it. Yeah, and it's a little bit it's been difficult. None of the regular Trump surrogates are doing any of the Sunday news shows tomorrow. And that's big because the Sunday news shows are where you set the narrative for the week. So what happened last week? What's our spin on it? What's coming up next week? What's our spin on that? The only people that are going on TV tomorrow are Giuliani is going on Fox, and then there's one other person scheduled, like some lawmaker
So
that's
is,
going.
Giuliani, he's actually on Trump's side, right?
Yeah, that's his personal lawyer, although he claims he works for free.
I mean,
Giuliani.
Sometimes I'm not sure what side Giuliani's on, as much as he puts his foot in his mouth. But go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to say, I wouldn't want to have Giuliani on my side at all because he divorced his first wife so he could marry his first cousin and have children with her.
Yes.
Ooh. Because
he got caught cheating on his wife with his first cousin while they were still married.
That's all true.
That's pretty bad. I don't know, but hey, I mean, just, if you can, I mean, if you can pretend, your daughter can come in and she can pretend that she's a diplomat, we could do these things, it'd be fine, but then when your daughter commits crimes, I guess that's fine, whatever.
Yeah. The biggest issue I think we have right now, like the Democrats' articles of impeachment are going to surround the whistleblower's complaint, but Trump literally went on TV and admitted it. Like it's difficult to even parse because it would be like Trump shooting somebody
or on Fifth Avenue.
No. I'm sorry. Let me say this. It would be like there was a whistleblower complaint that Trump shot someone
on Fifth Avenue.
When they were investigating whether or not he had shot somebody, he went and shot somebody. And it was like, well, why are we investigating whether or not he shot somebody when he shot somebody?
But you forgot the part where he brought the investigative reporter along with him for the second murder.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, but other people did bad things, so why are we focusing on Trump?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, you don't remember all the other presidents that got caught trying to solicit the help of a foreign agent or nation to interfere in a U.S. election?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Even if
foreign nation, let me correct. Oh, sorry, Ansgar. Let me correct you. Foreign nations, not just one. Go ahead, Ansgar.
Let's just assume for a minute that every single other president ever had also done that thing, right? It still doesn't make what he's doing now okay or legal.
Yeah, like if Ansgar and I went and murdered Puff, okay? Not that we would, but let's just pretend that we did. And I went out and said, okay, well, you can't arrest me and prosecute me for doing this because Ansgar killed him too. That's not how it works. Like the police would just be like, we'll just prosecute both of you.
No, you know why it doesn't work? Because your balls aren't big enough.
Mm.
Oh, right.
If your hands were tiny enough and your balls were big enough, you could pull it off.
Yeah, I just want to say hello to Maynard Saves in the chat. If you'd like to join us, tag the Great Debate Community in live chat and I can send you a link. And I did want to mention too a longtime supporter of Steve and friend of Steve's, Reed Charbonneau, if I'm saying that name right. He tried for us for the last couple of weeks, because we talked about Trump last week or the week before too. I can't remember which, but he has been trying because he engages with a lot of Trump supporters on social media. Right. And he tried, because I wanted to have some Trump supporters on. Everybody, some Trump supporters will pop in sometimes and say, "Oh, look at that echo chamber," And he reached out to several Trump supporters, and there were no takers. Nobody wanted to come on and carry water for Trump. And
I've got a Trump supporting friend. I can tell you his arguments.
Sure.
Okay. So his big one is that he believes that Trump is a social release valve for people who are typically considered part of, flyover states, people who feel as though the, coastal elites are forcing their way of life on them and yada, yada, yada. And he thinks that by impeaching Trump, you will only ensure that a new worse Trump gets elected, in the future. That's his thing, is that he believes that Trump is a social, pressure release valve, and that impeaching him will just be much worse.
Okay.
Wait a second. Can we apply grade school logic to this? Because I'm pretty sure if you just let the classroom get rowdier and rowdier, it doesn't suddenly bring itself to order.
Right.
Like the teacher has to put their foot down. It's like,
well, no. What he's saying is this is stuff that's been brewing for a long time, right? Like,
sure.
But there's this cultural divide and hatred, and that they need a chance to get a win, and then you take that one win and you impeach. It's only going to make it worse.
That's the story of America, isn't it? Like, that's been like our 276-year story, though.
It sounds like the people that have been pissed about the South losing the war since 1864, but yeah, 1866, whatever it was. No, 64, 65.
Everybody's waiting for their chance to get a little comeuppance in America. That's not an excuse to tear the house down and light it on fire.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what your friend is saying, because there's definitely, the Democrats have not done well in rural areas and for blue collar and low collar workers, to show them why the Democrat platform is better for them.
Right.
So they don't believe that. They believe that it's the immigrants' fault and it's the brown people's fault, and they're sucking up all the money through Social Security and welfare. And so the answer is to take all of the money out of Social Security and welfare and food stamps and education, and instead give tax breaks to rich people, because that's what's best for the nation.
Hey, real quick, you guys see the
I was going to
comment on the screen? Is this because I saw Tucker with some lawyer on last week, and they were, rationalizing and justifying and trashing the Democrats for even considering, having impeachment hearings. But has anybody seen this?
Yeah, I read it.
Op-ed?
I read it.
And was Tucker Carlson, was he harsh on Trump? Or
yeah, I mean, as harsh as Tucker Carlson gets on Trump, he said that what he did was bad, but it doesn't rise to the level of impeachment, which doesn't even make sense, because an impeachment is just an investigation. But people use the words impeachment and removal interchangeably, and Tucker Carlson should know better, but he's not a real journalist. He's just a pompous ass. So,
right, and that's an important point, that people don't seem to get right a lot. Impeachment does not necessarily entail removal from office.
Right.
There's an impeachment trial or an impeachment investigation in the House, and then if they find that there is a call for impeachment, then they impeach the president, and then it goes to the Senate, where they will either convict him or not.
Right.
And if he's convicted, then he's removed from office.
Right. And he has to be, it's very specific. It's just like any other trial. Like if you murdered somebody, John, not that I don't know why I keep bringing up murder, but let's say that you murdered somebody.
You are obsessed with murder.
I don't know what's going on. My
you
wife
are
leaves for
pro
New York,
murder.
You get him talking about Trump, and suddenly it's all murder.
Okay, so let me look for a different one. So let's say that John robbed a bank, okay? And he didn't kill anybody, just robbed the bank, just took all the money. And then I was a prosecutor, and I took John into court, and I said, well, John, you you committed assault and battery on Puff. Well, if my evidence is that you robbed a bank and I try to prove that you committed assault and battery on Puff, I'm probably not going to be able to prove that you committed assault and battery on Puff. So articles of impeachment are the same way. You've got to be very specific. This certain thing happened, or you committed this action, which is a violation of this law in this way, and I've got to prove it to the Judiciary Committee, who then votes on it, and it sends it to the House, and then the House votes on whether or not it's valid, and then it goes to the Senate. So, you don't just like, oh, we're impeaching the president today. There's got to be very specified reasons, and a thing has to happen. People act like it's so easy, like you're just like, oh yeah, the president's impeached now because I said so. It's a process. It's a very complicated process.
So you say specific, but I think Trump White House, we hear nitpicky and naggy.
I know, there's goddamn
all right
hard cucks.
But I would like to comment on the situation that's going on Fox News. Okay,
sure. So the Murdoch's son that's been put in charge of Fox News. He's basically been handed to it, and he's try to make this into something, right? Daddy was a media mogul. You will be too. Don't worry. Right.
So it's been handed to him. Well, he's pretty smart. He's been raised on how to deal with advertising and everything. That's his life, right? Mm-hmm. So he's put out a edict that they're going to separate Fox News away from Trump, right? They're going to take him away, right? And the thing is, the word went around, if you vehemently start defending Trump, you're liable to lose your job.
Right. Yeah, I have heard that.
And one guy tried to float some more Pizzagate type stuff, right? Bam, they axed him on the spot. They're not for that spinning conspiracy theories and all this stuff that you can't back up or anything like that, because it's costing them so much money in terms of advertisers and stuff like that, because they're like, you've become a media pariah. And yeah, you're on top, but that wave is getting real big. When it crashes, we don't want to be on that wave anymore.
Right. And I think that's what we kind of forget about sometimes on the left, is that there are a lot of very powerful people on the right that are very rich, and that they all realize that there's going to be a time after Trump in which they want to still be very powerful and still be very rich. No one's going to let Trump turn into a tyrant. I guarantee, like, he is tyrannical. He engages in despotism, but there are very powerful, very rich people on the right that aren't going to let him turn into a despot, a tyrant, or a monarch. I guarantee it's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're not going to let him seed a revolution, because they don't want some Mao type stuff going down. They don't want him.
No. Now they are equally as terrified of socialism. Don't confuse it. They don't like Elizabeth Warren at all. So
they're smart. They're not going to tell us to eat cake, but they're going to brush some crumbs off the plate, dude.
Absolutely. And you fuckers, you fight over those scraps. I have 5 more yachts to buy. Thanks.
Wow. So just real quick, let me interject here. Again, we're here talking Trump tonight, but the main reason we're here tonight is to help our good friend Kyle out. As we mentioned, if you're just joining us, Kyle's father passed last week. I believe it was a week ago Thursday.
This Thursday the 26th.
And he is having a real tough time coming up with the money for the funeral because it was such a sudden thing. And apparently, as he said, he thought that arrangements had been made, but apparently They had not been made in advance. So I'm about to, because I can't chew gum and walk at the same time, but I'm about to put the link in the live chat as soon as I stop talking here. But please, it's also in the video description, and please help with what you can. And let's do what this community does when one of our own is hurting, and reach out and help him.
Go.
And just to maybe talk about another aspect of this. So we talked about how the House impeaches, and then the Senate decides whether to convict. So talk about like the different outcomes here. Now, one person I heard say, several people I heard say that if the vote were anonymous, then there's maybe 25 or 30 Republican senators that would vote to convict if it made it to the Senate.
Right.
So my question to you is, of course, it's not an anonymous vote. If so, either it ends up being an impeachment, it goes to the Senate, and they convict, or they don't convict. Now, if the House impeaches Trump and they don't convict him, what are the repercussions of that? Will that help Trump in the election? Will it still hurt him?
Everyone's really worried about the election scoreboard at this point. I'm not. There are about 16% of the country, something like that, are these hardline Trump supporters. And you're not going to change their minds. For them, Trump doesn't just present a political avenue. He's a worldview. These are people who feel like that their culture is at stake, that their heritage is at stake, and that the only person who can defend all of that is Donald Trump. You're not going to change their mind. He was absolutely right. He could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. He could shoot Ivanka Trump in the head on Fifth Avenue, execution style, and he wouldn't lose their votes. I don't give a not that I don't give a fuck about them as people, but in this process, I don't care. I'm trying to get independents and Democrats who didn't vote in the last election to see that this man is dangerous. And the articles of impeachment and the investigation can do that. Trump will be damaged by the investigation. He's already damaged. The latest polls are between 44% and 50% of people supporting both his impeachment and his removal. That number was 57% on the day that Nixon resigned. We are 7 points away from it being so bad that the last time it got there, congressional Republicans went to the Oval Office and demanded the president's resignation.
Well, speaking of that, I was about to ask, is there a point in time here, given, the current leadership in the Senate, the Republican leadership in the Senate and the House, will there come a point here where a group of them get together and make that Nixon-esque trip to the White House and tell Trump that it's time, for the good of the country and the party?
What were you going to say, Puff? You go first.
Here's my wild prediction, right? My prediction is they're going for the daily double bonus. Okay, so we know there's a recession coming, right? Okay, that is an albatross around any candidate's neck, is a recession, right? If you caused it, and now you can't be the candidate. Ba-dum-bum-bum. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to hold this off just long enough for the recession to start kicking in. And once it kicks in, then they're going to go, hey, boom, we're going to lay this at this guy's feet. Then we're going to ask him to resign. And we're going to say, hey, we were forced to go along with these crazy tax plans. Let's do something to save the country. And then they're going to throw the working class a bone. And people are going to forget for a couple of years. All I'm hoping is they don't have a Hail Mary plan. And I'm going to ask Prolib I don't see that they have one, but do you see any Hail Mary plan they have to throw to the working man to save it if there is a recession?
Super Tuesday is March 3rd. Super Tuesday is the day when most primary votes happen in the upcoming presidential elections. That's when most states hold their primaries, and it's a very, very important day for whoever the eventual Democratic nominee will be. I think there's 3 elections first that start in February, and then March 3rd is Super Tuesday.
Well, we know it's not going to be Bernie now.
Yeah, we can get into that later if you want. But that means that there is less than 5 months before Super Tuesday. 5 months, which means there's like 4.5 months until the primaries begin.
So that's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. We don't. There is no more time. If the Republicans are going to make this move, they're going to make this move now. I've been predicting for a while. I believe Trump will resign before Halloween because I think the RNC wants him gone, and I think a lot of the GOP leadership wants him gone. We know Paul Ryan wants him gone. Paul Ryan is enormously influential behind the scenes at the RNC, and he sits on the board at Fox.
Okay.
Paul Ryan still wants to be president. Paul Ryan's going to run again in 2024.
My question is this. Is this the hill? Is this a hill that McConnell's going to die on? Because it seems like it so far.
It does. I think that it's a hill that he and Lindsey Graham will die on. But I think that there are several Senate Republicans who are coming up for vote next year, and they've got a choice. Do they want to take Trump to the ballot box with them, who could be damaged? And if so what happens when a lot of people vote is that they vote party line, right? They vote Democrat, they vote Republican. If people aren't showing up to vote for Trump, they're not also showing up to vote for their senator and their congressman and their county solicitor and their whatever else you vote for. Okay, so it's hurting what are known as down ballot votes. Yep. And those down ballot candidates care a lot more than Trump ever will. And if too many of those down ballot candidates start freaking out, and we know a lot have, because a lot have resigned, right? There's a lot of Republicans that have already resigned and said, I'm not running next year. And if too many of them are saying, I do want to run, but I want to win, and I can't win with this guy. And here's the thing, Glitch. I understand what you're saying, that Trump's too prideful to resign. He will be given the same choice that Nixon was. The congressional Republicans went in and they said, Mr. President, you can resign on your terms or you can be removed on our terms. Which one is it going to be? I 100% believe that Trump will resign. Pence will pardon him, just like Ford pardoned Nixon. It's a bullshit pardon, right? Any crime you have ever committed or will ever commit. It's a completely bullshit thing.
No.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Come on now. It'll be tested in court, but Trump will die.
In the trial.
Over the next 5 years, it'll be a 5-10 year court battle to figure out whether or not that's valid, and Trump will die of old age.
So he's going to die super rich like Epstein.
Hey, and Glitch, if you want to join us, tag the Great Debate Community in the live chat, and I can get you a link.
Yeah, anybody that's vetted by John.
Ansgar, did we lose you?
I think he's coughing up a lung. He's there. He's muted. I see his mic's muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
I was coughing. I muted my mic because I was coughing.
Man, you're starting early on that winter sickness, huh?
My wife brought something home from work. She works at an amusement park, and so yeah.
Oh.
Maya brought up something that I need to mention. That's part of my argument that I totally forgot about.
Is this one here? Is it this one here?
Yes. Thank you. Hi, Maya. I love you. Maya is right, and those congressional Republicans and the other people in the party know that Pence is implicated, and if they get Trump out of office, the whole impeachment thing goes away, and they can kind of protect Pence, and they can say, oh, well, it's just a deep state hoax. They're just trying to get Pence too because they got Trump out of office, and so it's a way to protect Pence so that Pence is still a savior of the party, whatever they're going to call it, whatever rhetoric they choose.
So, but if he didn't know about any of this, is he the candidate?
John.
Is he the candidate?
John, he knew about all of this. I have really bad news for you. But
I'm not hoping for him to
no,
they got proof. They have proof he knew.
He admitted he knew about it, but it's fine. Is he the candidate? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean he's a white guy and he's an evangelical. Yeah, and
but if he knew about it, why isn't he being impeached also?
Listen, like I said, impeachment is fucking complicated. Like we treat it as this simple little thing, and it's not. It's really fucking hard, and you have to make sure that everybody is on your side. All of the polls right now and all of the news right now is about Trump. There's been some news about Pence, not that there hasn't, but you ask the general person who's not politically active, right? Doesn't watch my channel and doesn't watch stuff like this. Is Pence involved in any way? And they're like, why would Pence be involved? Trump is the one who made the phone call, right? So no, they're not going to try to impeach Pence.
Do we have to play Republican basketball here? So we got to get an aide to give him a blowjob? And then it's all over. It's over then, right? I wonder
if Lindsey Graham would be interested.
I'm not saying he has that, I'm not saying he has that kind of accent, I'm just saying,
Just saying. I'm just saying Lindsey Graham's like an old queen. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
But then McConnell's got that gobbler.
The waddle. He's got the waddle.
He can just.
His milkshake brings a lot of boys to the yard. That's what.
I mean, and the thing is, and you mentioned earlier, is this the hill that Mitch McConnell wants to die on? And the first thing I thought of is, I thought that turtles spent their time in swamps, not on hills.
Right. Let us ask him, huh? Let us ask him.
Ooh.
Oh.
Huh?
Terrible.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I don't know about you guys, but I like turtles that eat pizza.
So he's the kind of turtle that eats cocaine, but
or young male interns. Go on. What were you going to say, Ansgar?
Oh, I was just chuckling.
Okay.
I was chuckling at the Ninja Turtles reference because, yes. I'm a fucking geek and I've got my Ninja Turtle toys right here. So yeah,
Heroes in a Half Shell, turtle power.
Mitch McConnell, worst Ninja Turtle ever.
Oh my goodness!
What would his Ninja Turtle name be?
Mitchie?
Sleeping?
Fuck a dildo.
No, real question is, what would his ninja weapon be?
Mitch McConnell's?
Yes.
Lies.
Abstention.
Yeah, there you go.
He would just not be there.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
So, one thing that, this is all well and good that this is happening. And like you said earlier, Ethan, it's a difficult process. They have to be very succinct in the charges they go after him for, so that they're sure to prove the case. They have to be.
Their constituents have to back them. That's a big one.
Right. And then, given that they have to be so exacting, in the procedure, what about all the other impeachable offenses that have been talked about over the past couple years? Are any of those going to find their way into this? Like emoluments and
no.
Nope.
Nah.
No.
Why bother? He admitted it on TV twice in the span of 30 seconds. Why bother? Yeah. Listen, if you had spent, let's say that you'd spent, I'm just accusing you guys of crimes all night.
I thought sure you were going to say, let's just say you murdered somebody.
I'm going to use people from the chat. So the first two people I see are Landon and Smitty. Sorry. Let's say that Landon and Smitty for 20 years had run a money laundering operation and they'd laundered millions of dollars through Russia.
Just saying, I'd believe that.
I would too. And then one day the two of them murder me because they just can't take it anymore and they just take me out, right?
I can see it.
And they do it on camera and they do it on television and they brag about it on social media. As a prosecutor, okay, they did money laundering for 20 years and I know about it, but they fucking murdered this guy on TV. Like, let's just prosecute him for the murder on TV. I mean, why bother with the other stuff? I mean, why even go into it?
Ethan, I have to ask you a question.
Sure.
Did your wife really go to New York tonight?
Yeah, she's in New York.
Because you've been talking. You got murder on the brain. Did she really leave? And is there a neighbor?
So here's what's going on. All right.
Is there a neighbor you have a story you're going to settle with? Well,
no. It's like it's far worse. So I don't know if you guys watch Red Letter Media. Do you ever watch their stuff? Like they do movie reviews and stuff. Red Letter Media,
yeah.
Mr. Plinkett, all that stuff. Okay. So two of the guys from that channel, Rich Evans and Jack, do a separate channel where they play games. And they did like hours of Friday the 13th, the game. And I've been watching that for like the past 2 days. I've been watching it like as I can. So that's what's going on. I've just got Jason on the brain right now.
See, I think you just have murder on the brain when you talk about Trump.
No idea what you're talking about.
just saying. In fact, I think in our last stream, was it our last stream when he talked about other possible legal ways of removing him from office, but we won't talk about that.
Right. Well, no, I had no idea what you're talking about. But you know, another thing is the big thing that he said was that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. And so I think that sticks in my brain too. Like he said that. That's not, again, I'm not making that up. I'm not inferring anything.
Now he's proving it.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely is.
I guess I can't argue that. I mean, what actually the one that got me the most was when he became the closest thing to a gun grabbing president we've ever had. You know, and admittedly, some of my Trump supporting friends have said, no, I'm out. You know, that was a line too far, but way too many of them have made excuses like, oh, but he won't actually be able to do it or whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter. If any other president said that he was going to suspend due process and grab guns, you'd be like, oh, shit, out of my cold, dead hands.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. And he's also said that he's in favor of red flag laws, which is not something that conservatives are in favor of.
Well, those were his ideas. In fact,
sure.
in a I forget, it was in a meeting with lawmakers. It was like his idea. He was like, I'm for grabbing the guns first and due process later.
Right. And you hit the NRA lobbyists in the back like,
oh, what about the latest gaffe while he was at that thing? And he was like, and we will go after them and we will defraud them. I mean, he was like, he straight up said, we will defraud you. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, to a bunch of African-American people. That's what he said.
What about him alluding to civil war?
Don't even get me. I don't want to get it. So TomTom34B has a great question that I want to answer. So TomTom says, what about if Trump says he was joking or he didn't give a sincere answer to the mainstream media, kind of like Lewandowski said, sorry, just scroll up. Lewandowski did when he was grilled by a subpoena. Tom, that is why you have an impeachment, because an impeachment is an investigation of the facts. So if Trump was joking, listen, any innocent person that's charged with a crime they didn't commit, investigate me. Investigate everything. Let's investigate everything because I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I'm not a criminal, so let's investigate me. You want to have an impeachment? You want to have every federal agency in the world investigate me? Sure, let's do it. I didn't do anything wrong. Let's go. Only guilty people fight investigations. So that's my answer to you.
Well, guilty people let the investigation go until they figure out you have evidence, and then they try to obstruct justice.
Okay, that's a good point too.
Well, and as we know, the best evidence is dumbass, getting on TV and admitting to it. So
right, exactly. Like,
hey, real quick, Glitch. Puffs. Is it okay to say your Twitter handle on live air?
Yeah, at Puff the Bong.
Puff the Bong. PUFFDABONG. Puff the Bong.
Oh, it makes me feel so bad. Oh God.
Don't feel bad about it. Please don't do it.
What?
We love you, brother.
Oh
love
no, it makes me feel so bad because like I just don't want people to be like you're a fucking loser, dude.
No
Like,
one-
it's,
no.
like I don't have the best or highest opinion of myself. You know what I mean? Like, but
I
I
do.
try to be better for other people. You know what I mean? I just don't have the highest opinion of myself because
Well, I am now declaring myself Puff's official Twitter representative. So if you would like to tell Puff on Twitter that he's a piece of shit or something, you have to go through me. So you actually have to tweet at Prolibshow all of that stuff, and don't tag Puff. I'll get it over to him. Okay. So just if you think that Puff is a terrible person, let me know, and I'll I handle that for him. Thank you. I'm his official Twitter.
Why? Who the fuck says Puff's a terrible person? I want to know who these people are.
me all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, stop that. But look, going back to despite Ethan's attempt at shooting me down there, back to what I asked a few moments ago. What about this garbage about two things actually? Trump alluding to civil war if he's impeached, and also trying to expose the whistleblower, essentially telling his followers to go after this guy.
Right.
Well, two things. He also said that California is on the verge of civil war already, and I can walk outside my door right now with a webcam and show you it's just regular people doing regular things, living their regular lives, and nobody is getting ready for fucking war. Okay, there's also not poop in the streets and
Right.
or any of the other crazy shit they say about California. And there might be a few people who are willing to go, grab their guns for Trump if he's removed from office. But the vast, vast, vast majority of people are blowing off steam on the internet who even have anything to say about this at all. So not worried.
And that's why I don't even like to talk about that, because it's just complete and utter bullshit. He was, in his defense, he says, well, I was quoting a pastor. I didn't say it myself. I was just quoting a pastor. It's like, obviously we know what you were doing, you fucking narcissistic piece of shit.
What pastor? Has he ever cited anyone?
Yeah, no, he cited somebody in the tweet. Some pastor. It was some pastor's quote about how if Trump's impeached, there will be civil war. No.
Right.
No.
And there was some other unhinged dude that tweeted some stuff that he.
Are you talking about Richard Kite?
I can't remember who it was, but somebody. I mean, it might have been all part of the same thing. But Trump basically copy pasted his tweets and retweeted them. And
do you guys know about Richard Kite? Do you know the story?
Tell us. Please tell us.
So yesterday, just about 24 hours ago, Trump tweeted a quote from Richard Kite about how Trump shouldn't be impeached and all this stuff. Well, it looks like as though Richard Kite may not exist. The quote was from a local newspaper, and it said, Newark, New Jersey, Richard Kite. There's no Richard Kite in Newark, New Jersey. And the quote sounded very much like something that Trump would say. So what everyone thinks happened is that Trump wrote into the paper claiming that he was Richard Kite and then quoted himself on Twitter.
Well, it's funny too, because that's been Trump's MO for decades.
John Barron, David Dennison. Sure.
Yeah. So I could believe it.
Absolutely. So I made up a Twitter thread. You can go find it at Prolibshow. I made up a whole Twitter thread of guys. I found Richard Kite, and it's all these different pictures of Trump. Like there's one where he's got a little hat on and he's holding up French bread. I said, this is the time he went to France. And then it's got Trump on Elvis's body. And I said, see, he was an Elvis impersonator in college. And then Trump's face on a woman's body. And I said, here's Richard Kite's wife, Bethany. It's a fun little thread. You should
a lot of this stuff is really just a symptom too of social media, where one or two crazy lunatics can say something and get enough likes on Twitter to make it seem like their sentiment has some kind of widespread appeal that it really doesn't.
Right. Yep. I totally no. You're absolutely right. I don't have anything to add to that. I agree 100%.
So Ethan predicts that Trump will resign by Halloween.
I do.
That's only like 3 weeks away now.
Yep. Well, again, the reason that I'm predicting it is that the polls have jumped up. 2 weeks ago, the polls were at 37% for his impeachment and removal. Yesterday, they were at 50%. And they were at 57% the day that Nixon resigned. I mean, it
ain't got much room to go.
When you look at it that way, it looks pretty safe to me.
You're out of there, bro.
Yeah. I don't see it. And I think it's going to be about down ballot candidates. These down ballot candidates aren't going to want to try to ride Trump into the ballot box because the down ballot candidates understand something that Trump doesn't understand. Trump can't win with only his base. If Trump takes only his base to the ballot box, he loses. He has to capture independents. He has to capture blue dog Democrats, conservative Democrats, whatever you want to call them, in order to win. Right? He won the last election by like 180,000 votes. That's nothing.
You're telling me he can't buy Russian votes?
I'm not saying he can't. No, in fact, I need to do a stream soon on why we need to have hand-marked paper ballots at all voting stations, polls, whatever you want to call them. But in the meantime, what I know that we can do right now is make down ballot candidates realize that Trump is not the train to ride into the election because it will fucking derail and explode.
I was going to ask, were you familiar with they did a documentary about 10 years ago on those Diebold voting machines?
Oh yeah.
And they showed how they could be reprogrammed so that when you voted, it would count the vote for just a specific person, and they could do it in a random enough manner to make it look random.
Absolutely.
It was terrible. I was like, oh my goodness, man, my democracy is gone, man.
Colorado bike prepper. I listen. I think when I think about it, that the timeline seems too quick. But when you look at what the numbers were for Nixon and where the numbers are now and how fast the numbers are changing,
I don't think in your calculus you're accounting for Trump's ego. I don't think he'll leave. I just don't.
I think he will. I think he will because, and here's why. I think that resignation comes with a pardon, and I think that removal by impeachment does not. And I think that's how they get him out. They say if you resign, Pence will pardon you. If you wait for impeachment, he won't.
But that sounds like a good deal, and he doesn't make good deals.
I don't think he'll be the one offering the deal. I think McConnell will.
What are you talking about? He taught me the art of the deal.
Clockwork Rex, Trump cried voter fraud on the last election he won, so you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, he cried foul when he won.
He set up an entire voter election fraud commission that operated for almost 2 years and found no fraud.
Did they find out that it statistically is not a thing? It happens so infrequently.
The only woman that was prosecuted in the last election for voter fraud voted for Trump twice. So.
Well, and
but that doesn't count.
Right.
You talk about him still being around for the election, and if he did lose, and I've heard a lot of people say, well, he won't leave. He'll try and do something. And I've even heard other people allude to that he will, do something militarily. But the fact of the matter is that the military is, much like the country as far as like the voting demographics go. Okay, not all people in the military support Trump. As a matter of fact, last time I checked it out, it was pretty much split down the middle. And as a matter of fact, officers in the military were slightly more against Trump than for him.
It's mainly E4s and lowers that are Trump supporters. NCOs and officers don't like him very much.
It's the strange fantasy that some Trump supporters have that he's like, a Julius Caesar, that he's going to have the support and love of the military and be able to just ride in and, okay, the Republic is mine now.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. Even the military that support him, because of their values, which are part of serving their country, they would never take part. I'm not saying it couldn't be a handful of crazies that might think something like that, but in a larger scheme of things, the military would never take part in something like that.
Right. And most people in the military have families of their own that they don't want harmed in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of people in the military don't really love being in the military, and it's just a job, and they're not going to like just start shooting other Americans because the president tells them to.
Hey, Tom 34B, you know, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but like what Ethan's been talking about, you know, national politics are what's in the national news all the time. So we get caught in this trap of thinking that that's the end all and be all of politics. But I forget who said it, but it was one of the truest statements ever made. All politics is local. And if these down ballot offices, you know, politicians, you know, they're the ones that need to get swayed, and they in turn will sway the Senate, because the Senate.
And beyond that, remember that all these senators and Congress people and mayors and governors and everybody else, they know that they're going to be in office, or they can be in office after Trump. So there's a line when they're like, okay, well, see you later. I've got my own life and person to defend. Like, I don't care about you, you orange menace.
So Colorado biker prepper, you guys want to see what I've got on the screen from him. Yeah, there are some unhinged individuals in Trump's base. Now, is this a scenario, you know, even without Trump refusing to leave, are there people within his base that might do some crazy shit if he loses the election or is removed from office?
I mean, maybe, but the military has drones now. And you know what would happen if he refused to leave the White House? The Secret Service, who doesn't serve him, by the way, they serve at the pleasure of the Treasury, would say, well, Mr. President, why don't you come with us? We'll guard you. And they'll put him in the fucking plane and they'll fly him to fucking Leavenworth or wherever. And they'll be like, okay, we're going to guard you here in your cell, sir. There's a new president that's taking over. It's a complete fantasy, guys. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We don't live in a Tom Clancy novel. It's not going to happen.
Hey, just real quick too, you know, we're talking politics tonight, but you know, the main reason we're here tonight is to try and help Kyle out, Puffalupagus, and he just put his GoFundMe in the live chat there. You know, please check that out, and you know, and help him with the sudden loss of his father, who passed away without any burial arrangements. And that's a good point to bring up to people in my age range too. You know, if you're in your 40s, your 50s, it's never too soon to arrange for that and to not leave that burden on your family. And as a matter of fact, if you do it ahead of time, there are some very, you know, affordable options to. I found out, you know, when I looked into arranging for mine, that I could get, you know, a package to have myself cremated, you know, for around $3,500. So, right. You know, and of course, I really don't care what happens to me, but you know, as far as Puff's father's funeral goes, you know, they want to do a traditional funeral, and even at that, it sounds like that you guys are doing a pretty affordable thing, you know, as far as funerals.
Yeah, no, we're doing the cremation. So like, but I had to have them embalmed because I had family that had to come. So that was like $1,000 on top of it, right? So
right. Well, no, like, don't get me wrong. When I talked about the package I looked into, that was the bargain basement, no frills, no visitation, you know, put me in a hefty garbage bag at the side of the road, you know, kind of package. So, but yeah, please go over to this GoFundMe. Please help him out with what you can. The other thing I'd like to ask everybody to do, could you please share his GoFundMe on social media? I mean, there's been around 50 people here all night long. If every one of you went out and put this out in Twitter or Facebook, or, you know, just DM some of your friends and let them know what's going on, that would help in a big substantial way as well.
Absolutely. Please give if you can, guys, please.
Oh, I dropped the wrong thing in there. Give me 1 second. I have my shill information right here at short notice because I got tired of typing it 800,000 times.
Yeah, I have it booted up on the clipboard here, and
Oh, see, I'm such a lame. I don't even have a clipboard. I just have a notepad. I'm
no,
the worst.
I'm saying a clipboard on my phone, like it.
Oh, even worse, dude. How do you even access that on the phone?
Well, because like when you go to post something in chat, then you hold the box where you type in, and then a little thing pops up that says clipboard, and it has anything that you put on the clipboard.
Yeah, that might be a thing that's on premium phones. I buy like really cheap phones. I buy the phone outright, and then I just get prepaid service on it. I'm so
My wife
cheap.
does the same thing. It's okay.
I'm so cheap.
What, you're still a flip phone user?
No, I have a modern day phone, but like my phone, I can show you like the whole screen is busted, and it's a terrible situation, dude. It's been busted since last winter ish. If I can get it to like,
I'm always surprised at the
see that nice shape bust.
I see it.
At the shape I see some phones in, and they still fucking work, man. Like I don't like I've seen like the most crushed screens and banged up things, but they're still working. People are using them. And then I had a smartphone here a couple months ago. I dropped it literally like 8 inches. I went to put it on the coffee table, and dropped it like it fell maybe 8 to 10 inches, and it was done.
Right. Yeah, I've had the same thing happen before where I had a phone that I dropped on like concrete and stuff before, and it was fine. And I dropped it like on a carpeted floor. It was just the angle, and just the entire screen shattered. Done.
Oh, even
just
on a carpeted floor.
Oh yeah,
it's the angle.
This phone and it got damaged because yet again, no good deed goes unpunished. I was coming home from work and I just happened to have my monkey suit on, and my neighbor was stuck and they couldn't get out of their parking spot in the ice, and I went to go push them, and I got them out, and then when their car moved, I fell forward and landed on their bumper with my chest, and there goes my phone.
There you go. Yep.
So what's a monkey suit?
It's you ever seen those guys with like those thick Carhartt jackets, or like the Carhartt like overall, the bibs, right?
Yeah.
Well, they make a one piece that you step into and then you zip it up the front. It's called a monkey suit, and it's fully like insulated, but it's also like that double jean stuff on the outside.
Right.
So it's cool. Like it's really tough. It's really like double canvas or something. It's like really tough stuff, but I used to work outside in the snow. Like I worked outside every day because like I mount tires and stuff. So that's what I used to do. And then ended up having to leave that job for some reasons because I had to go to school. But let's see. Great debate community. I know a lot of Trump supporters, and they're extremely conditioned, akin to the fervor of fascists, the 30s or 40s of communist China and the former. Yes, they are. Absolutely. Colorado biker prepper. And it's so bad that they've reverted to let me be as nasty and as horrible of a person as I can. And they're like, if I can't justify what my president is doing, if I can't prove him wrong somehow, I'm going to attack every group. And on Facebook this week, I've seen the diehard Trump supporters attacking the LGBTQ community. Thank you, Colorado bike prepper. Thank you very much. And I've seen them attacking all these communities, but really the LGBTQ community, I can't even say it without getting stuck up in the words, but they've been getting just lambasted on Facebook lately, and it is terrible. Like the stuff I've been seeing is just absolutely horrible.
Oh, we lost Ansgar.
I apologize.
Yeah, I figured we were going to.
Yeah, he was not feeling very good.
Yeah, not feeling very good. If you dropped out accidentally, come on back, Ansgar. But if not, thanks for stopping by, and sorry you're feeling so bad there, bud. Yeah, I usually, if I feel like somebody's maybe not getting in, because the rest of us are talking too much, I'll try and go to him. But I went to him the one time, and it didn't seem like he was feeling all that good. So
I could tell he wasn't doing well. So I hope he gets feeling better soon.
Yeah, and I just, matter of fact, another little friendly reminder to folks out there, especially you folks that have elderly parents, it's not too soon to go get your flu shot. I just got mine last week, and
Good point.
elderly parents that I see 1 to several times a day, and I
Hey,
never.
Colorado wants to come in. You shoot him a link.
Yeah. What? Can you tell us what your Twitter handle is, Colorado Biker, if you have one? Let's see. But yeah, I never got a flu shot in my life until 3 years ago when I started, being around my elderly parents more, and then figured I for them to catch the flu is not a good thing. I wonder if I dare. No, he says don't do Twitter. Well,
Gmail it.
Do you feel comfortable, Colorado Biker, in? Well, here, I'll put my email. I'm going to put my email in the live chat right now, and then you email me, and then everybody else just use this to send me all your dick pics and whatever else.
But only if they're big veiny ones.
All right, let's see. I typed that right. All right, there we go. Shoot me an email, and I will send you the link as soon as I see that email. All right, look. So, like we said a few moments ago, and we talked about it with some folks in chat. You're saying by the end of this month, Colorado Biker Preppers saying maybe by the end of the year. Other folks are saying, well, no, he's still going to be around for the election. I just myself personally, I don't know what to think. I hope Ethan's right, or at the very least, I hope Colorado Biker Prepper's right.
Oh, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does go into the election. I hope that I hope that it fails when we go into the election, because he will lose in a fucking landslide. But
to use my Gmail address. Oh, that was before I posted mine. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ethan. I was talking to myself.
it's okay. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that he does try to go into the election, because the debates will be enjoyable. And if he shows up to them, right? And he'll lose in a landslide. So I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that he doesn't resign. I hope that he's not removed, because the Republican Party will lose. We will have a blue wave, because so many independents and Democrats will be motivated to show up to the polls that won't even, no amount of Russian interference will be able to obfuscate the election. He will be obliterated in the Electoral College, and the GOP as a whole will be obliterated in both houses. And that's another reason why I think they're going to demand his resignation, because they know the same thing.
All right.
Yeah.
I got go ahead, guys. Carry it. I got to go into my email here and get him this link.
No problem.
You're good.
That albatross. Yeah, that's the thing. Once you become an albatross around their neck, and the thing is that it's not. We got to remember, it's not going to be the congressman, and it's not going to be the Republican senators. It's not going to be the Republican House members, right? It's not going to be them, right? It's going to be their big name donors, their lobbyists. They go, hey, look, this dude is. Yeah, we can't deal with him no more. He's got to go. My question to you is, what are the chances that this guy goes on vacation with his family and they decide, hey, you're damaging the Trump brand too much. Oh, my father, terrible circumstances befell him on this vacation.
Yeah.
While he was still president, before he resigned, before he damaged the thing.
Yeah, and he has a Bernie Sanders, but they don't get him to a hospital in time. Yeah. I've seen that thrown around a lot, that he could be Jeffrey Epstein.
No, I think he's not Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein went out on his own stuff. I don't think he got murdered.
No, I think he could. No, that's what I'm saying. That he could try to off himself as well.
Oh, no, that man does not have that bravery.
I don't think that he's brave enough to do that. I think there would have to be some sort of health issue or it would have to be somebody, polonium teas and that sort of thing.
Oh, so you're saying they might have a Russian waiter?
Yes, that they
Like
might
they
have
did in
some. They
England.
might have Russian dressing with their salad. Yes.
Well, they'll sprinkle a little Russian black pepper on your drink there for you,
Yeah.
President.
Yeah. Mr. President, this Big Mac came to you directly from Moscow. Please eat it right now.
Just a little sprinkle. And that guy, he needs to go wash his hands like 84 times
Right.
now.
He's dressed in the hazmat suit because it's Halloween. He's just, it's his costume. Yeah. So, I could see. Again, it's a little too Tom Clancy novel for me. I was a political science major. I mean, that's what I studied in college. So I prefer my political calculus, right? Because it's what I depended on for so long. I just don't like to speculate the hypotheticals.
Well, see, the reason why I bring it up is because I'm an 80s baby, right? So
Sure.
I know that the supposed swan song of state actions, we'll call them,
Right.
they happened right before I was born, right? So, and it wasn't supposed to happen. And then here go the Russians pulling some old umbrella action, if you know what I'm talking about. And they sprinkled something in that dude's drink, and like they scoped it out, got the dude hired as a waiter. It was crazy. Sure. And I'm like, they're back to their old games again, right? And then like, I'm just saying, man, it's they're what I think is that he's damaged enough brands that if he can get out of the way, if they'll give him a sweetheart deal, he'll take it, right? He'll take that, that blanket protection. But I don't think they're willing to give it to him because that's almost an albatross around their neck. I feel at the same time because
I think for a lot of these guys, if they can get Trump out of the national daily conversation, that helps them because then they can go back and talk about things like, eliminate or not eliminating Social Security. That's not what they say, but they talk about defunding entitlements, right? Or lowering taxes to on businesses so that business can grow. All of the trickle down economic bullshit they've been selling us for the past 40 years. So,
real quick, let me Biker Prepper. I did respond to your email and send that link out.
Can I? I just want to go ahead and thank some people real quick.
Sure.
Of course. I don't know if they're still in the stream, but Kawasa, thank you. Landon, thank you. Maya, thank you. If he's around, Frank Wolf, you Beard Brother, thank you. And there's a lot of people from this community. I just want to say this also, that it strikes my fancy that in this community we have all kinds, but it seems to be that the atheist community has come out hard. And I'm an agnostic. I've reserved judgment because I really don't know. I have to be honest with myself. The older I get, I have to be honest with myself. I know that probably the biblical God doesn't exist. If he does, that's weird. Very weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird to me. Okay. But anyway, it's got to be more than one person. It's got to be like a group of people fighting in like a small trailer. But anyway, but that really hasn't happened. You know what I mean? So but I will say this, the one person that's outside of the community, but he's kind of in the community, James from Modern Day Debate, he went hard on Twitter for me, just like John Petersen did. And I got to give that guy mad props because he picked it up from Shannon's tweet off of his show, right? He brought it up and said something on the stream and everything. So that's a really big one to me.
James is awesome. Runs a great channel.
Yeah, and he's like, he always puts a smile on my face no matter what. He's like that every time I run across anything he does, I'm smiling.
James is fantastic.
Yeah, he's an awesome human being. So I just try to be as cool a person as he is. But everybody's here. Even Macabre is here, which, we've had our brushes, but, at least he's, on board with the Trump really is a terrible person situation.
Mr. Macabre doesn't exist because, as everyone knows, Australia doesn't exist.
Well, it does, but it's on a sound stage They're wearing
Right.
jumper harnesses so we can't see it. Just
And
so
we
everything.
can't direct the whole thing all day. He
same
just stands there directing.
The same soundstage where they shot the moon landing.
Yes.
Well, it's actually they turn the camera around.
Right. Yep.
Because they see what they were planning before they did the whole Australia exists thing. They were going to go, we went to the moon. Now we're going to Mars. That's why. But they had leftover scenes. And so they were like, you know what? It's more plausible to say it's on Earth.
They did a lot of red paint. That's what they're doing right. And they're just painting everything red so that it looks like Mars. Right. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, since we started talking about other things, I do want to share something here that kind of tickled me earlier. I've been in this couple-day exchange with a theist on Twitter, and
You don't say.
and so and I just told, and he keeps gish glopping me, like sending 6 to 10, tweets at a time. And like, I just got done telling him, look, man, stop with the gish glop. If you send me more than 2 tweets at once before I respond, then I'm going to mute you. So he's about to get muted. He sent me like 8 more that I just saw. But earlier, he had said, talking about how the Bible's infallible and there's no errors in the Bible and everything. And so I shot just a few things off the top of my head at him. Some of them are kind of nonsensical, but, I said, are mustard seeds the smallest seeds? Did Jesus really resurrect? Did Christ return within a generation like he said he was going to? Was Tyre destroyed as described? Did humanity come from one man and a woman fashioned from a rib? Was the universe created in 6 days with plant life created before the sun, etc.? And one of his replies to this, he replied like 4 times to that one tweet. He said, also, with humanity, whether we take a naturalistic approach or not, originally there were only 2 human beings on the planet. So, and so I don't remember exactly what I shot back at him, but it was something to the effect, yeah, you don't understand evolution at all.
No.
If evolution is true and creationism is false, evolution does not claim that humanity came from 2 original human beings. Evolution is about populations, his idea of evolution is that 2 human beings evolved from a subspecies and then proliferated mankind from there.
Right, because that's how evolution works. Like, it's not complicated.
Yeah.
They make it complicated because they feel like it. I mean, it is complex, but it's not complicated.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but it's not. It's not that just 2 human beings all of a sudden.
Right.
And then we all are. Billions of us later.
Right. A monkey didn't have a human one day. That's not how it works.
I have a better question.
Sure.
If God was able to create Adam from the dust, right? Why did he have to bang Joseph's wife?
He was horny.
That's a dick move.
Oh, it is a dick move. Oh my God, is it a dick move?
On more than one level, I guess.
Imagine that. Imagine poor Mary being like, God fucked me. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm sorry, Joseph, but God fucked me.
But thinking about this, right?
God? Are you crazy?
Thinking about it though.
By the way, folks, we've moved on to the religious portion of the show.
Right.
Go ahead, Puff.
Thinking about it though, wouldn't that be the only plausible story you could go with if you cheated on your husband and got knocked up back in the day? You're like, look, it's God's baby, and I'm still a woman.
Yeah,
still fresh.
Yeah.
Like Joseph's like, wait a minute, Mary, how are you pregnant? I'm shooting blanks over here. Oh, God did it.
Oh, I'm still a virgin because God did it from across the room.
Hey, we got some fresh meat in the house. Welcome to Colorado Biker Prepper. And he is putting on the bike helmet and everything with the goggles.
I need that helmet. I need that.
Thank you, man.
Welcome, buddy.
So I don't know if I've ever asked you this in a live chat, but now that I've got you here live, is it Colorado Biker Prepper because you are a bit of a prepper?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not an all-out prepper, but I'm one of those folks who thinks that it is very pragmatic to and very easy to have 6 months worth of food and water on hand.
Yeah, I'm not one of the doomsdayer weirdos. I'm more of a pragmatist. I live way up in the mountains in Colorado. I've been snowed in at my house for 2 weeks. I live at almost 10,000 feet above sea level. So when it comes to something like that, if you're not leaving your house for 2 weeks because of 6-7 feet of snow,
Right.
you got to be able to take care of yourself. So,
Sure.
and this is not a motorcycle helmet. This is my tinfoil helmet.
Oh,
Okay. This is the tinfoil helmet for when the woo comes out.
Well, real quick, I need to call somebody out in chat. Blutsauer, you are dropping dimes tonight, my friend. You are on your game, and you are doing an excellent job. Keep up the great work.
well, why? What is this? Is this what you're referring to?
It's just every time I look over, I see Blutsauer saying something else that makes me laugh every single time. Just on your game tonight, my friend. Fantastic work. That's all I wanted to say.
Playing the part of someone who.
Oh, it's he's dropping perfect ones. I mean,
He
this is amazing. If Australia doesn't exist, why is there a function to turn pictures upside down? Checkmate.
That is brilliant.
That's good. That's good.
It's brilliant.
I love that.
But it's fantastic, and I don't want your work to go unacknowledged.
Yeah, I missed that Australian one. That sounds funny as hell. Yeah, like the some of the flat earthers I've seen that, like I can't remember who it was. Some older guy who had the globe and a little like matchbox car sized.
Oh my goodness, I know
Oh,
that
yeah,
guy.
him.
He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not a pilot or anything, but
Yeah, the guy with the little airplane that he's like, oh no, you'll fly off there.
Guys, I can still see the curve. Okay, I can still see the curve.
Wait.
whoa. We don't need to know what you and your wife are using after the streams are over.
It's a back massager. You can.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. It's back.
Yeah.
It's a butt plug you can share with friends.
Yeah, you say back massager after the stream goes off. Hoo ha wrangler. We all know.
Batteries are dead.
Next time you
I
show
wonder why.
next time you show that on camera, wipe off the KY jelly first, okay?
Lick it off.
Listening still.
Well, this stream has devolved into something.
I'm sorry, we are terrible people.
No,
Oh,
no,
yes.
not at all. That's fine. Hey, just real quick to go back to when Prepper got here and what it was for me that got me to decide to put a few things away was when I look back and think about things like with Katrina and natural disasters like
Right.
that. And then when you talk about some of the very cheap things you can do, like if you were to just put up beans and rice for 6 months, that ain't gonna cost you anything.
It's not even like something like a natural disaster. You lose your job. You're out of work for 4 months, 5 months. At least you have food, so that part of your budget is taken care of. You don't have to go fanatical. There's some people that just go completely bonkers over it, and they just go way over the edge on. I'm nothing like that. I have what I need, and I need what I have, and that's it. I keep it simple, but I would like to be prepared in case if something happens.
Sure.
So and this goes back to the discussion that you were having earlier about the orangutan in charge. Is a lot of the people in the preparedness community, they're ardent Trump supporters. I mean, especially the ones that are way out there kind of prepper type of people. They are fanatical. I mean, we're talking severe fanaticism to the point of extreme cognitive dissonance, confirmation bias, everything that they hear, read, and see, if it's contrary to the message that they've been putting out, that particularly Trump has put out, because he is a phenomenal propagandist and marketing. That's how he got elected. Okay. They are excellent. He's been doing it, since the early 80s. He has a team of people. They know exactly how to market and promote him. okay, and how to use the type of propaganda and everything to their advantage. And they have conditioned and basically brainwashed these people to the point of fanaticism that is akin to those of the severe communists of China or of early Russia or of the fascist movement in Italy and Germany and all that. I mean, I don't want to bring up, Goodwin's Law, but anyway, but it's the same level of fanaticism that we're seeing from these people. And I think that there could be severe ramifications, particularly if he is impeached. I don't think it's as likely as if he loses an election, but if he is impeached, that is a big slap in the face to every one of his ardent supporters that are just completely passionate about it. And I believe that he's so much of a narcissist, and an egotist, that even if he is impeached, he's going to find a way. He's going to try and find a way to fight it. The Secret Service is going to try and drag him out by his ball sack, and fine, they should, if he is impeached. But he's going to find a way to fight it any way that he can.
Well, you look at during the election, he alluded to, he told his supporters and alluded to them, going out and taking up arms against Hillary Clinton and the government if she won the election. So, we already know what he's capable of. And if you, so his supporters going down, as we've alluded to earlier in the broadcast, it's shrinking down to more and more to where it's just his base. And if, say, just a very small percentage of his base were to become unhinged, that could still be tens of thousands of people, and they could wreak some havoc.
Hundreds of thousands, and typically they are the ones that are the most heavily armed and trained in how to use their weaponry, tactics, everything. That is, what really does frighten me. And just to give you a condition on my position is that I'm an independent. I loathe and despise any political party, whether it's or any political label. I'm sorry, progressive liberal. I hate the phrase liberal or conservative.
It's okay.
I do not ascribe to any of that.
All right. I'm not offended.
Okay, good. Well, I just want to make sure, but it's any of these things, I have views that are all the way across the political spectrum, but some of these people, they have been so heavily conditioned and brainwashed, and they live in this bubble of confirmation bias that they could be prone to violence.
Well, sure. And I don't disagree with you. I think that, first of all, it's nice to meet you. I've never met you before. So
yes, nice to meet you too.
But
before you go on, I just want to interject. I myself, though, I'm offended, and my horse just took a shit.
Oh, good. Okay. I grew up around horses. Don't, never kick a fresh turd on a hot day.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, good Lord. So I agree with you. I think that, you had, what was the family that was up in the mountains that it was 10 or 12 years ago, and the father and the brother both died or didn't die, but some of the other family members did. Are you talking
Ruby Ridge?
Ridge.
That was back in the 1980s.
No, not Ruby Ridge then. No, there was one that was more recent. It was, I want to say it was just as Obama was getting elected.
Not Waco. No, that was in
no. I was
No.
damn near right by that when it happened.
I know. I can see it in my head, but I can't.
Are you talking about the one where they took over the Mueller Wildlife Refuge?
Yes.
Eamon Bundy.
Bundy's.
Eamon Bundy's. Yeah, and those are the same people. Those are
right.
The same,
no,
right.
absolutely. So I think that those people exist independent of Trump. It's just that most of those people, or probably all of those people, now align with Trump, and they are hardline Trump supporters.
Yes.
But here's my question. Do you think that they align with Trump because they think he's this awesome, like Messiah guy that became, or do you think that they just align with him because they feel under Trump they can do anything they want to do now? So like the Eamon Bundy type guys that feel like they shouldn't be beholden to any federal law that they don't like.
Right. Yeah, they're sovereign citizens.
Well, some of them are. What I think it is that one of the techniques that Trump really played up in his election is that he is the outlier. He's the not the career politician. I'm the outlier guy. I'm not the guy who, I'm not a career politician, any of that. Right. I'm the outlier. I'm the average guy. I'm the
He run for president like 4 other times, but yes,
right.
He's not a politician.
Yeah, right. But the thing is that he painted himself in the light of, hey, I'm going to work for the little guy, the little working man, and that's who these people are. So the message resonated with them very much more than it did with all these career politicians.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Like with Hillary, I hated Hillary too. She was horrible. She was abysmal,
Right.
But,
I don't, but,
okay. Well, yeah, right on.
So I absolutely think that you're correct. And I think that these people would be hardliners, whether independent of Trump.
Right.
It would be just as likely to be hardliner supporters of Pence or Marco Rubio or Jeb Bush or anyone else that
Ted. I think Ted Cruz would be a better one that they would go towards.
Okay, sure.
One other thing, since you guys did touch on the religion thing just a few minutes ago too, is that Trump, like most of the Republicans as well, he really pandered and played to the religious right. Okay. And those are these people as well. They tend to be very religious. And from my opinion, I'm an atheist, but I find that those who are, staunchly religious, they tend to have a lower education level. They tend to be much easier to propagandize to. They are much easier to be led down a path that, to where facts don't matter. Reality doesn't matter. It's how you feel, not what you can actually demonstrably prove.
Absolutely.
Things like that. And that played into it too, because he heavily played to the evangelical Christian base in his election as well. Yeah. So, and these same kind of people, like the Bundys, like so many of the, the 3 percenters, people like that, they tend to be, not all of them, but the majority do tend to be very evangelical Christian or very religious.
Yes. That is why I started my YouTube channel. It's why you go on my YouTube channel and you find videos where I debunk theories about abortion.
Yeah, I've seen you before. I've seen your channel.
Right. And I'm not trying to talk myself up. I'm just saying that's why my channel is structured the way it is. Like,
no, come on, pimp yourself out, bitch. Come on, pimp yourself out.
When we talked about impeachment, we didn't just talk about impeachment. We started in 2013 with the protests in Ukraine. What happened in Ukraine? Why is an annexation of Crimea? What does that mean? Because a lot of these people, they don't get those facts. All they care about, they're wedge issue voters. They care about abortion. They care about right-leaning judges. They care about law. You say law and order, and to them, that means locking up more black people.
Well, so, not just black people, but anyone that has any kind of a different idea of how things should be done. Like lock up the liberals, lock her up, lock her up. A lot of the hate that I'm not. This isn't an attack on you personally, but a lot of the hate that is thrown at Hillary Clinton is thrown at her because she was a prominent Democrat for 20 years. Yeah,
they investigated her for 20 years and they never found anything. Yeah, she testified. I want to point this out to everyone. She testified voluntarily for 11 hours on Benghazi. Our current Secretary of State won't even go to Congress to testify.
Her involvement went all the way back to Watergate.
Absolutely.
She was actually involved in the Watergate hearings.
She just posted about it on Twitter 2 days ago. She was the intern that listened to the Nixon tapes.
Yep, I know.
That's what Hillary Clinton did.
Right. My problem with Clinton, not just Clinton, but also Bush as well, another staunch conservative. And my problem with actually the majority of the politicians today, including Trump, is that we have devolved from an open party system to one that is perceived to be a 2-party system.
Yes.
But it's just a 1-party system.
Yeah, it is. It's
that's why people like Bernie Sanders and AOC and Elizabeth Warren are so important, because they're finally moving the conversation left.
Right. But
we have not had a leftist party in this country.
Oh, yeah, we have. but nobody knows about it. That's the problem.
Well, okay.
We have communists. We have socialists.
But we haven't had a leftist party, is what I mean.
We have Marxists.
We have Marxists. Yes, we have extreme.
I'm
left.
saying at the national level, we haven't had a leftist party.
Yes, we do.
I understand. Okay.
They are registered with the Federal Electoral Commission. They are just not put on the ballot.
I understand. Let me just finish the sentence. I'm saying we haven't had representation, which means people in Congress that are true leftists. That's what I'm saying. Now, we've had a few. We've had Bernie, and we've had, you could make the argument that Angus King is a leftist. I've seen people argue that before. I don't know. But they've been very, very few and far between. And now we've got a national conversation about universal health care. And we've got a national conversation about free college, stuff that is left, stuff that is socialist, stuff that should have been included in the New Deal and definitely should have been included in Nixon's welfare programs, but got left out.
Yeah.
And in 1980, when Reagan got elected and we started with the entire Reagan, it wasn't just Reagan. I'm blaming Reagan, but it was everybody under Reagan. But Reagan and then Gingrich and Boehner. Okay, those three people, and Michael Steele, I guess too. You could say it to him. But the entire theory for 40 years has been let's pair conservative ideals with evangelical Christianity, not Christianity.
Yeah, the real start of the evangelical base, the so-called religious right started with Ronald Reagan, with Pat Robertson in 1980.
Absolutely.
And that's actually about 1979 is when they really started to hammer it home.
Right.
And then Reagan elected. That's when they really started to court them.
In the 80s, both parties closed ranks, though. They did that with the Bloc Party voting through the religious base on the right, but they also did it with the implementation of the superdelegate and the delegate system with the Democrats, because they both had threats of actual independent or new candidates that weren't going to run on the party base. And they weren't going to say, well, my thing is this, right? My thing is that. There were really people that were tired, they were pissed off at the situation. They were like, I'm going to participate in government. And the government was like, hey, bro, back it up. This is not the party that you think it is. This is a good old boy network right here.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing that, I think that has really stifled our democracy is we have become so reliant on a party system, on parties. And our only independent president in our history, George Washington, read his farewell address, because he warned us
many times.
Yes,
can I comment to Reagan?
He warned us about partisanship. Go ahead. Sorry.
Here's the thing. You got to understand this, right? AOC is young, right? She just got into this position. She just started doing this. She's also not been vetted. Okay, so she's gonna make mistakes, of course. Who was young and didn't say, I know how to fix this, and was completely wrong, didn't know a damn thing? It's gonna happen, but hopefully she learns and people aren't like canceled, right? Like, I don't understand why we can't, like, why we want it on one side and we don't want it on the other. Because there's also, I have to say, there's some conservatives that are coming up now that are doing some good things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're also getting this, if you don't toe the party line, if you're not ultra conservative, we don't want you there. And I'm like, I don't understand why fresh ideas are something that's going to get you canceled.
Well, the other thing is too, is like, when did passion become a synonym of unhinged? That doesn't make any, that makes no sense.
It doesn't. AOC is a national treasure, and I adore the hell out of her. But going off of what Puff said, Justin Amash just left the Republican Party because it was too hardline conservative for him. Justin Amash is going to run for president in 2024. I guarantee it. And what he's going to say is, join with me, young conservatives, because we're going to start something new. And I think Justin Amash is part of a young conservative movement that is finally going to go after Hispanics and say, hey, Hispanics, how do we get you in the party? Because that's what they said they needed to do. In 2008, when Obama won the presidency, the RNC and the GOP sat down and they had this huge meeting. They had like 3 different meetings in 2009 where they were like, we have to reform the party and we have to change our stances on immigration and we have to change our stances on healthcare so that we can get people into the party. And at the same time, the Tea Party was forming, and the Tea Party took over all of them and ate all of them and said, no, hate Obama. He's from Kenya. Guys, he's from Kenya. Obama's not really an American. And it worked because the conservatives have fostered this racist agenda.
And who was asking and who was demanding? Yeah, who was demanding to see his birth certificate?
Donald Trump.
Oh, gee.
Hey, real quick, Mr. McCobb, you know I love you, man. You're my brother. You're my brother, man. But this couldn't be more wrong.
Oh my God! Yeah, McCobb, that's complete nonsense. It's like you banged your head on the keyboard.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't make any sense.
And that's not to say I agree with everything AOC,
I do,
but she's
fantastic. I love her. She's done a lot of good work up there too.
And again, I know some people.
Puff, you're muted.
Yeah, so I know.
Oh, I'm sorry. So here's my thing.
Hold on a second. I was in the middle of something there. I know not everybody that listens or watches is necessarily follows the live chat. Just wanted to point out that Puff, just posted his GoFundMe again in there, and the story of what happened to him last week. And again, I just want to appeal to anybody that just joined us recently to go check his GoFundMe out and help him out with the burial costs for his father, and to do what I suggested earlier, is to please share that link on social media. We've roughly had 50 people around all night, some in and out. And if everybody just, goes to Facebook, goes to Twitter, and shares that with a few friends, that help in a real big way. Go ahead.
So I want to say something about AOC, something that she did that's amazing.
I won't let you do that, but I had interrupted Kyle. So
yeah, donate to Puff.
Okay. Thank you, Colorado. That's what we really need to be talking about. Yeah, because this is the situation, guys. So anybody that's not here, when my father passed on Thursday, he passed in my home. I was the one that found him. Terrible situation. I really don't want to talk about it too much. I thought I was just staying home to watch him for the day until I could take him to the hospital the next day or to his doctor. He wouldn't let me take him to the emergency room. If anyone here has, career military in their family, especially from a prior generation, those guys are very, very stubborn in the way that they do things. And the one thing he told me for a long time was that he didn't want to die in a hospital. So I think that may be why he didn't want to go, because he suspected maybe what was happening. But I wish he had have let me know, because I understand he didn't want that. But at least maybe we could have had time to do something, because now I'm in the position where I'm not the beneficiary, and there's no will. He doesn't exist. So I can't even be the executor of his will to do things like processing for his to find out if he has any kind of burial policy or anything like that, because I'm not listed on any paperwork. Because the last year and a half he spent living with me, I didn't focus on making sure that he did this, that, the other, that he ate this food or did that thing. I just wanted to give him a chance for once in his life to retire and to enjoy retirement and to live carefree for once. And he told, I guess, the other people in my family, he never said really anything to me because I guess he didn't want it to burden me. But he said that for the first time in like 20, 25 years in his life, he was actually happy for once. He got to live his life and be happy and not have to worry. And, all I did for him was provide him a place to live. No rent, no bills. I took him where he wanted to go, when he wanted to go there. I helped him save up his money so he didn't have to use it. He bought himself a nice vehicle. He, had all the things he wanted, a hover around, everything he wanted. And that's all I focused on, was just making sure that he was happy. And so I didn't focus on making sure everything was ready. And I feel bad for that. But I had not seen my father in almost a decade, and I just wanted to spend time with him. and I got to spend that time with them. And I feel bad that I'm not ready. You know, things aren't ready for when he went, but I feel that I did good, you know, because I guess he said that he was in pain every day. He never told me. He said he was in pain from when he woke up to when he went to sleep. And I know he had a lot of back surgeries and stuff like that. He was in a lot of pain, I guess, but he never said anything to me. He acted like he was happy. And he just let me know every day, you know, that he was like anything that he wanted, he got, you know. And the thing is, right now, I just put the amount of money for just what the funeral home is asking for the cremation and the processing of his body. And um, I had to have him embalmed so that I'd have time for family to come into town, and also so that they could actually touch him and pay their final respects, you know. Um, so that's what I have to pay for. But I'm not, you know, that's all I want to do is pay that thing. But I just don't have that kind of money because recently, just before this happened, about 2 months before this, I quit my job because I'm now going to college full time. And he told me, "You're taking care of me. I want you to go to college. I want you to do something with your life, right? So I'm going to pay your little bit of $500 or $700 worth of bills. I'm going to pay your gas. I'm going to make sure you have food. Go to college, get your education, get a career, and provide something for your family later on." He's like, "Because I didn't give you this chance when you were younger, let me give you this chance now because you're giving me a chance to enjoy my retirement." Well, little did I know that he spent everything he had at the end to make sure that my car was fixed, that everything was up and running and all this. And now there's nothing. There's nothing to cover him. And so I can't take the money that's going to be coming from my school loans and pay this to the funeral home because I have to find a new job that I can work part-time while I'm going to school full time, and I have to drive an hour to school and an hour home. So literally I'm leaving at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't get home till 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And my wife doesn't really want me to work, but I have to work. I have to provide something for my family. My wife's working full time. She's already paying the rent, most of the bills already, but I can't leave that on her shoulders. But I just don't have the money to, and that's just to pay. That'll be just to pay for me, the little bit of bills I have, so I can use this money they gave me for my school loans to pay for my gas, to pay for my food, to get to school. And so that's the choice I have. And I was going to donate everything, give everything I had from my school loans, but everybody's like, "You're going to kill yourself in school trying to work the whole time, full time, and you're not going to get what your dad wanted." And so I'm just trying to balance my life with doing my father right and honoring his memory. So I did everything I could. He was interred at a national cemetery. They took care of all the costs at the cemetery. However, the funeral home is not free. And the state I live in, you cannot obtain a death certificate or any of the paperwork to finalize anything unless they go to a cemetery or a funeral home. So unfortunately, that's what I had to do. That's the position I'm in. I just ask for any help I can get.
Well, and let me just say, Puff, because I know you let us know earlier tonight that you're often hard on yourself, and I think you need to, stop being so hard on yourself about the idea of not being prepared for this, because we all do that. We all want to feel like we're, whatever the word is, indestructible, or that's not the word I'm trying to think of, but we have a tough time, accepting our mortality and planning for it. And so you're not doing anything that many of us haven't done. I mean, I never even really considered it myself until over the last year when my folks were talking to somebody about it, and I happened to be there, and then I got to thinking, well, boy, it's a crapshoot from the moment you're born. I could go at any time. I should look into making arrangements. So you did nothing wrong by not having this set up to ahead of time. So please don't be hard on yourself about that.
Agreed.
That's the thing, is I try not to be hard on myself, and that's the thing, is that I like, my thing was I couldn't bring myself to get on him, maybe because it was my dad, but maybe because I also, when I told him, I was like, "Just come live with me and I won't make you do anything you don't want to do. You can live the life you want to live. You know what I mean? And it was so sudden because Monday I live on the 3rd floor of a condo building. He was walking down 3 flights of stairs Monday, and then Thursday he passed. You know, it was just so sudden. I didn't see it coming, you know. And, you know, I could have been more honest with myself that, you know, he's on more medicines than I can count, you know, and everything like that. But I had myself fooled into thinking I had so much time with my dad. And that's the part I hold against myself. It's not that I wasn't prepared, you know, this quickly. It's just that I thought I had more time. And also I'm kind of mad because, you know, I'm not able to take care of everything the way it is. I have to wait. And that's also the thing that people need to know in the chat is that if he does have anything like a burial policy, anything like that, I can't find out for 40 days until I'm allowed to file this affidavit. So, and I guess that's so that if he does have a will somewhere, I can't try to undercut him in court. You know what I mean? I guess that's the only thing. But I don't have any family out there that's like that. And all my family came to the funeral. We said our goodbyes. They signed the piece of paper. They put me in charge, and I'm the baby of the family. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm not prepared for anything, and I've never asked for help like this before. Like, I'm the type of person where if I have to struggle, I'm just going to struggle, and please don't ask me about it because then I can act like it's not so bad. But right now, I just don't have any way to tackle this financially. And that's why I'm trying to do this, because it's freaking me out, really. It's really freaking me out because, you know, now I'm thinking about myself. It's like you said, like John said, you know, now it brings to question all these things. Like, am I ready for this? And it could happen any moment. It's a lot of things going on, and I'm not even really mentally prepared to take care of this stuff right now. But if we could get back to Trump, that'd be great.
Yeah, speaking of people that aren't mentally prepared.
Oh my goodness, perfect segue.
Perfect segue, sir.
So now I think when we left off, there were some people in the chat who had, were trashing AOC, and Ethan had said, "Let me just say this one thing about AOC," and I said, "No, we're going to let Kyle talk."
Yes.
Okay. So what I wanted to say about AOC was, is he talking about when she went to her home district to check out what these senior citizens had got from a private co-op group that helped out to get these senior citizens housing? And she said, wow, this apartment that you were given is the same as what they call a luxury apartment in Washington, D.C. that's taking all my housing allowance. Is that what they're talking about? Or are they talking about when she goes door to door, or she was going door to door to get elected, when she still goes back to her district and listens to her constituents? The fact that she's in her office every day that she's supposed to be there because she doesn't spend time meeting with lobbyists. Like, what are we talking about? Like, do you want them to do their job, or do you want to see them on TV? Pick one.
Well, and not only that, as a new representative, what do representatives do? They pass legislation, right? That's their entire job, is to write legislation that then gets passed.
And she seems to be writing a ton of it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go into. So since the beginning of the year, she's done that 8 times. 8 different pieces of legislation has she authored. 2 of them are bills that are both in committee now. One of them was the Green New Deal. The other 5 are amendments to different legislation. And the one that got passed was redirecting $15 million for HIV AIDS, viral hepatitis, sexually transmitted diseases, and tuberculosis prevention. So to say that she hasn't done anything is, I don't even have words. Like, what else do you want her to do besides? And by the way, she has co-sponsored on like 350 pieces of legislation. Those are just the ones that she personally authored. She's doing a fantastic job. I wish all of our legislators worked that hard, or they could be like Devin Nunes and sue cows on Twitter.
So, I think, I mean, you talk about members of Congress doing the right thing. whether you agree or disagree with AOC, I don't think you can really have question for the work that she's doing. As far as, like Puff said, she's not sitting in her office meeting with lobbyists. She is, making herself available for her constituents, and as Ethan said, doing what she is supposed to be doing as a United States Congresswoman. But whereas there's a lot of, people in Congress that do spend most of their time fundraising and talking with lobbyists and, going to the $300 lunches and what have you. And I'd like to springboard off this and ask, why is it, and can we ever fix this? Why is it that a president has term limits, but the members of Congress do not?
Do you want the real answer? Do you want like the actual, like factual historical answer?
Sure.
That would be nice.
Okay. So in the Federalist Papers, for those that don't know who the Federalist Papers were, James Madison and two other people wrote letters to different newspapers in the months and years after the Constitutional Convention to defend why certain things were in the Constitution. But it was really James Madison's plans. He just got his friends to do it too, and they would do it under pseudonyms. They wouldn't put their real names on the letters. And all of these are now combined into a document we refer to as the Federalist Papers. And the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists were really the first two political affiliations. I don't really want to call them parties, but they were the affiliations. The Federalists believed that there should be a strong central government, and that's what would keep the colonies together in union. The Anti-Federalists believed that strong government at the local level would keep the colonies equal and therefore in union. So Madison wrote that the three branches of power and why we had an executive and what its duties were, and why we had a judiciary and what its duties were, and why we had a legislative and what its duties were. And he said that the most danger didn't come from the presidency because we didn't give the power of lawmaking to the presidency. We gave the power of lawmaking to Congress. And theoretically, Congress could pass a law that says they're all kings. Now, the reason that we set up a judiciary is that the judiciary will look at that law and say, is that constitutionally appropriate? They probably wouldn't. But theoretically, that's something that the legislative branch could do. So the theory was, if you don't give them term limits, then they aren't beholden as much to passing things quickly. The legislative
that backfired, didn't it?
They're not going to rush to judgment on important issues was the entire point.
Right. The legislative mechanism is meant to work slowly. Madison described it as a vortex.
Yes.
And if things work slowly, if it's hard to pass laws, you won't pass as many laws. I don't think that Madison would have believed in executive orders or what's the other one? The note a president can put on a law.
The signing statement?
Deciding statements. Thank you.
Yes.
Or signing statements.
Signing statements. Yes.
Yes. I don't believe that he would have. And in fact, Bush used a lot of signing statements. Like he used a lot of signing statements. And Obama, when he was running, he said, oh, well, I teach constitutional law. Signing statements are unconstitutional. I'll never use signing statements. And he used his first one, like his first month in office.
Alexander Hamilton, who was part of the Federalist Papers, he actually spoke against things like extra presidential decrees that were exactly just like signing statements and executive orders.
Absolutely.
He actually wrote extensively about that in private papers.
Absolutely. And here's what they were afraid of. The king could sit down and say, I am now going to tax stamps, and stamps now have a 2-cent tax, and boom, stamps had a 2-cent tax. And they did not want that sort of thing repeated in the United States. And the theory is, if somebody could be a senator for 20 years, that they're not going to get in to be like, I've got to pass a bunch of fucking bills tomorrow and change all of the laws of the land. They wanted the laws of the land to be set and to last a very long time. It's why amendments to the Constitution require the ratification of the majority of states, because not only does Congress have to pass it, not only does the judiciary say it has to be constitutionally appropriate, but all of the states also have to agree too. That's really fucking hard to do. So that's why you have term limits on presidents and you don't have term limits on the legislative branch.
Do you think that rationale is useful in today?
You know, it changes every week.
Well, I was going to say, it seems like in that situation, they did not anticipate three things to happen: the internet to exist, Mitch McConnell to be existing, and both of those things to happen at this time. Because he's the person that they didn't expect to exist, where he could have under his power basically the judicial, the executive, and the legislative branch at the same time. Right. They didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, they thought that the Electoral College would save them. Benjamin Franklin used to tell this story a lot. That's why I'm sure it didn't happen. But as he was leaving the Constitutional Congress, where the Constitution was written and signed into law, a woman asked him, "Well, doctor, what do we have, a monarchy or a republic?" And he responded to her, "A republic, if you can keep it. Because a republic requires an educated, involved, and active populace in order to be healthy. And if you aren't educated, and if you aren't active, and if you aren't involved, you are failing them, and you are failing yourself."
But then are you saying people have to put an effort into this democracy thing?
They do. And
I thought it just happened.
That also means that when someone tells you something about AOC, that you should be able to go Google her and read all of the pieces of legislation that she's written and know whether or not you're spouting a bunch of right-wing bullshit.
So you're telling me that that's why when somebody told me yesterday that Hillary Clinton asked China to spy on her political rivals, and I asked them to show me proof, they never got back to me?
Yeah, it's weird. And what's funny is I'll see people demand Christians do it, but then they'll spout the right-wing talking points at the same time. And it's like, these two things are connected.
Well, that's my favorite whipping boy, my favorite horse to beat other than John is that Republicans will say, and Democrats now say it too, I don't believe in giving someone something for nothing. I don't believe in wealth redistribution, but I do believe that those corporations deserve those tax breaks. And I'm like, in the same sentence, you said you don't, but you do. Like, you don't believe in wealth distribution to the bottom. You only believe in it to the top. Like, what the fuck is that? That's my
I got
favorite
no answers.
boy.
I mean, like, I don't know, but.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I bring it up. Like, I'm like, okay, so Verizon, they made $2 billion in profit and got a tax break that effectively they got paid negative 0.02%. That was their tax bill, negative 0.02%. So they got paid by the government to operate, and they had $2 billion in profit. I'm like, this blows my mind. Like, how do I get that sweet deal? Like, what is that?
Well, I mean, the thing of it is, and it goes in cycles. Okay, the right wingers, the Republicans who believe in trickle down economics, they come into office and then they ruin the economy, and then we go through having to fix it after they leave office. I mean, this has happened more than once, and the idea is antithetical to how capitalism works. Okay, capitalism isn't trickle down. Capitalism is trickle up. Okay, companies, corporations compete for the dollars of the masses, and then that creates a funnel at the top of the pyramid, and that's where the taxes should come out. That's where the taxes should come out, because there's a natural funnel there where all these big corporations amass vast sums of money, and all we're doing is making it easier for them. I mean, the idea that a corporation that size pays no taxes and actually is to the good slightly, that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean,
Yep.
it's the same mentality.
Yeah.
It's the same mentality that allows billionaire football team owners to get paid to put stadiums up.
No, they get the people of the city to pay for the stadium.
Right.
That's even worse.
Right,
Now,
right,
Puff, if you want to get those kind of tax breaks and that type of tax liability, all you have to do is hire an army of lobbyists to write and tax attorneys to write legislation and go pay indirectly. Give lots of campaign contributions to different legislators to pass that. That's what they do, and that's how they do it.
I got to invest a couple million into
more than a couple million.
Into a few
More
senators,
than a couple million.
into a few senators. I got to invest a few hundred million maybe to get a few billion back.
It's just like our justice system. You know, we have the best government money can buy.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing, because like you said, Democrats are just as bad. Hillary Clinton is
Right.
She's a dino.
Right. And my problem with Hillary, and also with basically the vast majority of all these people that are running for office, is that by getting involved in the current electoral system that we have now, by the very involvement in it, it is going to corrupt you. It is going to make you do things that are antithetical to your ethics and morals. Because you have to. It's the only way you get elected. And it's the only way you stay in office as well, especially after Citizens United verdict by the Supreme Court.
See, here's the thing. You talk about the Trump tax cut from almost 2 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
That went mostly to corporations and the wealthy. All right. If they had taken that $1 trillion and given it all to people and households that make less than $50,000 a year, that money would have immediately gone into the economy within a few months. And everybody that got that money would have spent it. But instead, they gave it to people who were already rich. And supposedly, they were going to use that money to create more businesses and create jobs and everything. But no, many of them did stock buybacks. Invested their money overseas, and that's why I say it should be trickle up, not trickle down.
Right.
And the thing is,
if you want to stimulate an economy, you give the money to middle class and poor people, and they will spend it in the economy and boost the economy.
Yep.
That's correct. And the thing is, I don't doubt, and that's the thing is, it's easy for people to see all the examples of how the Trump tax bill did that. But what I noted down, the reason why I noted down Verizon that $2 billion is because that happened under the Obama administration. He was given the same tax breaks that were happening. So the thing is, for the and before him, Bush was doing it, and before him, Clinton was doing it, and before him, Reagan was doing it. You know what I mean? It's like it's been happening for the last 40 or 45 years. No matter who, they just get the baton passed to them. Hey, you're expected to pass these corporate tax breaks.
Actually, about 50 to 55 years ever since the Red Scare. Actually, ever since World War II. Because that's when a lot of the legislation was enacted, particularly to give these big breaks to the defense industry.
Right, and that's where McCarthy, I think it was McCarthy, was warning about the rise of the military-industrial complex. He said, fear the rise of the military-industrial complex, and they're like, hush, sit down.
No, that wasn't McCarthy. That was
Eisenhower?
Dwight D. Eisenhower. Yeah, he warned against that. He says, beware of the military-industrial complex.
Right, and everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" And then
McCarthy was the one responsible for the Red Scare. He was the one responsible for the witch hunt of the communists.
Turn in your friend and tell them that they're
exactly.
communists.
Yeah,
and they're getting rid of
hearings.
They're getting rid of dissidents.
The other guy, McCarran.
Yeah, McCarran.
Yeah, and they were getting rid of dissidents. Like that's not some fucking red communist shit anyway.
Well, and actually a lot of this. That same McCarthyism, we've actually gone back to that. We've gone to that back to that type of mentality because of the way that the rhetoric and propaganda is being used by both political parties to demonize the other side so much. It's the same old thing. It's divide and conquer. They're using this rhetoric to divide us amongst one side or the other, whether it's liberal or conservative, whatever. Okay, and it's come to the same level. That's why socialism has become synonymous with communist.
Yep.
No, seriously.
No, I
a
know,
lot of the
I know.
people,
It
yeah,
just
a lot of the
makes me
people
laugh
that
when
I
I hear
hear, it makes me fucking chuckle like hell. It really does. But it's because, socialist, that's communist. Really? Well, what about roads, libraries, schools? Those are all socialists.
Yeah, the New Deal.
Yeah, the New Deal. It's you got Social Security. Oh, gee, you say, oh, I'm going to take away they say you're going to take away their Social Security, and these conservatives lose their frickin' mind. But then they bitch about socialism. Oh, it's socialism. So that it's not that it is as bad in and of itself. It's that it has been demonized with the rhetoric and the propaganda, not from just one side but from both sids.
Yeah, what do you do? What are you, some kind of commie bastard because you want free lunch in your middle school?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Real quick, you mentioned Citizens United a few moments ago. Now, was part of that decision where they classified corporations the same as people?
They have the same inherent rights in the political sphere as an individual person.
Okay, so that decision and the decision, which I don't know where it came from, maybe it was the same case, that money is speech.
It was the exact same. Yeah, it was the exact same judgment.
Well, those two decisions are two of the stupidest judicial decisions ever to come down the pike. Okay, because the idea that money is speech, that leads to people with more money having more speech, and the idea that corporations are people, that's like saying, hey, today's football game is going to be the New England Patriots against Fred.
Yeah. The thing is about that is that the corporation, what it really boiled down to was a freedom of speech issue, that these corporations had the right of the freedom of speech the same as an individual had. They had the right to lobby, to address grievances, for a redress of grievances. The First frickin' Amendment. It was a First Amendment issue.
Yeah.
So, and that's why they were forced to rule that way. And if you read the dissent, there was very little dissent, actually. Ruth Bader Ginsburg dissented probably the most. But the others, it was a pretty bizarre, it was really bizarre, but it was, a really bad decision. And the only way we can overturn it is with a constitutional amendment.
Yep. And I just want to address Fred Knotts. I agree with you. I agree with you that those are the two, that is the most popular program and it's the most popular type of insurance. But that's the same group that's standing there saying you can't tax the rich people that got rich because they got rich. You can't tax them, man. You can't expect them to support the stuff when they don't understand that those are the same people that enabled us to make Social Security and Medicare a thing.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that. And how that is the case, I do not understand that, because my grandmother she grew up during the Depression, so she knew that it happened, right? She was born in the 1920s. She grew up through the Depression. She knew these things happened, right? She told me about it. So how these people don't know about these things blows my mind, right? I don't understand about it. Like, the 50s must have been the most amazing time ever. Like, that's all I can think. Like, if you were on the winning side in the 50s, it must have been amazing, dude.
Let's hear it for our educational system.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it, though. If you were on the winning side, I mean, because I always and not so much anymore. That she's getting older, but because I don't want to disagree with her. I want to let her live a happy life, without any disagreements. But I remember my mom always alluding to, boy, the 50s were just the greatest, and boy, I wish I could go back to that time. And I'd say, well, yeah, they were great for you, but 50s,
yeah, sure, if you were white and you had money,
all that great for everybody.
Right. Yeah, if you were white and straight, sure, it was fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I always think make America great again. Like what are you alluding to by saying that? And
Well,
I think
What time was great?
yeah.
What time are you speaking of? You know what I would say? Make America great. And and when they ask me what time are you speaking of, I'm speaking of the late 70s. I'm speaking of the civil rights era. I'm speaking of the time when we struck when the civil rights or the socialist movement in America actually got us something. In the at the end of the Great Depression, they broke the poisonous grip that was on America for just a moment so we could breathe, right? We bring back those great times when we had civil action happening in our streets, in our elections, when people actually were like, instead of sitting behind a computer like, dude, I'm totally going to go vote, and then they don't, get up and like when this is the thing. I'm glad that people go and they protest and everything like that. But this is the thing. Look at what they did in the 60s, right? Like they encouraged people, wear your best clothes, act on your best behavior, right?
Smile.
Because
I prefer
smile. That when they
yeah.
took pictures, they couldn't demonize you and they couldn't catch you in a gotcha moment, right?
Yeah.
If you don't strike back, if you're sitting at that counter and they just keep dumping hot food on you and you don't strike back, there's never a moment where they can catch a photo of you hitting them.
and that's even more important nowadays when there's basically everybody's a reporter with a phone in their hand that can take a picture, and so yeah, very very important point.
Yeah. I would prefer someone more like Mother Jones. I think she was much more active, if you know who she is.
I'm not familiar. Can you give me a brief overview?
Oh, you don't know Mother Jones?
I've heard. Okay, so this is the thing. I've only heard of Mother Jones, the stupid website that shares all kind of
no.
terrible stuff.
From the mid 1880s all the way through the Great Depression up into the 1830s, Mother Jones was a union organizer, and she was an agitator. She was an agitator. She led a lot of the UMW strikes, a lot of the UAW strikes. She's the one who led for a lot of the a lot of unionization and a lot of workers' rights back at the time when we're talking about these oligarchs basically controlling the country. She was notorious for going out and loudly speaking against this, the robber barons of the 20s and 30s. Okay, she's the one. She was an organizer, and in that era, for a woman to do that was incredible.
How did she not get killed, man? That's
Actually,
crazy.
she was called the most dangerous woman in America.
Somebody's behind you.
I know, that's my wife. Hi,
Okay.
wife. Hold on.
Hi,
a
wife.
second. That's Laura.
Okay, that's crazy to me. Like at that time, that'd be like a woman putting their life on the line. That's insane.
Oh,
to
sure.
me.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, dude. Because those guys were not like, the thing was, like, I know that, like, who was it? The guy that was the steel industry, right? He was one of the barons of the steel industry, and the president wanted him to allow worker rights, and he was like, "Nope, not gonna happen, bro, not happening." And the president was like, "Look, man, I got some dirt on you, and it'd be a terrible thing if it got released to the newspaper. So why don't you do that?" He had to lean on him like that, like illegally, and then the guy was like, "All right, I'll back up,"
Right.
No, I'm not in trouble, Fred. That was a question about dinner.
Oh,
What's for dinner?
Grilled cheese and tomato soup.
that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Love
Homemade tomato soup.
Oh, ooh, my goodness.
No, you're wrong. Beef is what's for dinner.
My
No, I
question
had that
is,
last night.
That was my best Sam Elliott. But
Okay.
you said you live at like 10,000 feet. My question is, do you pressurize your coffee or you drink the not great coffee?
What? Actually, my roommate or my housemate, my basement dwelling troll, he works for a coffee roaster down in Denver, and they do really high end stuff. And he brings home some of the best shit I've ever had for free.
Okay, yeah, because I was in Denver and they cooked me. They gave me a cup of coffee at from just a gas station, right? And I was like, this tastes terrible. And
Oh,
then
no,
I found
really?
out why is because it's such a high altitude. The water boils at a lower temperature.
Yep.
Therefore, it doesn't cook the beans as much. You don't get as good a taste in coffee. That's why I asked you that. I'm a coffee
Yeah.
person. I
So
saw
No,
you
you're-
drinking
I'm
it.
a coffee
So you're-
fiend.
So you're at 10,000 feet, so you're definitely a member of the Mile High Club.
Oh yeah, 9,650 actually, right about there. So I live southwest of Denver, about 50 miles.
Pretty sweet.
So I'm way up in the woods. They don't let me around normal folk no more.
So are you? Are you off grid?
Actually, I'm working that way. I am still on grid electrically, and I have to be for water because of the development area that I live in. But I've already got 800 watts of solar and a small battery bank set up, just in case of power outages in the wintertime. I've lost power I've gotten snowed in for a week, and I've lost power for a week. And
Ooh.
my house is baseboard electric heat, so I've got a wood stove, and I live in the woods. So I got plenty of firewood. That wood stove has a big fan on it. That's why I have the battery backup.
Right.
So I've got that. I'm also about to invest in a 800 watt wind turbine, and I'm all about distributed grids. Things like that. I think that we could do a lot better. That's one thing I do respect about Ocasio-Cortez, is that she really does have a good idea about how we need to transition. The Green New Deal, it was the way they put it was horrible, and it's way too
Too ambitious.
yeah. Well, it's not that it's ambitious, but the time scale is too ambitious.
Right,
That's
and
the
that-
problem. That was the
even
problem.
She said something to the same effect. She's like, it come out. She's like, it hasn't gone in front of all kind of actual experts in these industries.
Right, and that was a big
tempered
problem.
yet. She was
Yeah,
like, it hasn't been tempered yet. It just hit the floor, and you guys are shredding it to pieces. It's like,
Well, it's
like-
because there were some major errors in it. There are some major problems.
right,
with
right.
it.
But it's
So,
like if you-
it's a great idea. I'm all for it, but it needs to be done in a more practical manner. It needs it needs more research, but parts of it can be implemented almost
Right.
immediately, but other parts of it are incredibly difficult to implement.
Well,
Right,
I
but
want to give a quick plug real quick. So about 2 weeks ago on my channel, we did a whole show on the Green New Deal, and it's called "How Much Will the Green New Deal Cost?" And we broke down the whole thing and different projections of what it would cost if we did do something and if we didn't do something. So if anybody is curious about that, you can go find that on my channel.
I think, go check it out. That's actually one of yours that I watched recently. One thing that I think you did omit from that conversation is, I don't think you covered it enough, is how much it would cost us if we did not go to that, and then we came to peak oil and we started to run out of oil, and how that would adversely and severely damage our economy. We would lose more if we didn't do it.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
Than if we did.
The reason I didn't is that I'm a political scientist and not an economist.
Right.
So I need to get somebody who I can talk about the political ramifications. I don't feel educated enough.
I'm telling you, man, just call up
too.
Richard Wolf. He'll hook you up, man.
Yeah, I should have Richard Wolf on.
Yeah.
I should. And we should talk about that. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the stuff, where they're saying, no air travel, things like that, that would be hugely damaging to our economy.
Sure.
And not just our local economy, not just nationally. I'm talking worldwide.
What are you talking about, Colorado bike prepper? Everybody knows they really go run on compressed air. You're tripping.
Right.
No.
A bigger
I
detriment
don't.
to
Oh
the-
God. Oh.
What would be a bigger detriment to the economy? Ending air travel, or having 300 refugees coming in from the coast because the water levels are rising and the coasts are gone?
Well, try more like 120 million.
I'm talking about worldwide. They're probably about 300 million.
Well, you said
from what I've seen. So yeah, I mean, I get that's terrifying for everyone, but at the same time, it's like, if we don't do anything, it's probably going to cost twice what it would cost to do something.
No, it would cost a lot more than that. It would triple or quadruple the amount.
Oh yeah, it would. I mean, it would.
And it's not just an immediate effect; it's also a long-term effect.
Right.
That's the problem. So
and you have effects on food, and you have effects on not just healthcare. You have effects. I mean, you've got a city that's got a hospital in it, and it can house so many people, and then you double the amount of people that are in the city overnight. You have effects all at mass, public transit. So you've got to plan for all this and figure it all out.
Well, just sanitation and health. Just
Sure.
sanitation alone would be enough. Next thing you know, cholera epidemic like they had in London.
Right.
So it's
we gotta
surprising.
But I have to go.
Let him go. Let him
Because
go.
Wife is in New York. And she's-
Oh, okay. Wipe twice. Oh,
and actually, I was thinking about winding this
Wrapping
up.
it up.
I'm an old man, and I'm kind of fading fast here. But before you go, Ethan, anything to shill that you have coming up?
We do our show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights at 9 p.m. on my channel. Me and the great Mikey Famine is my co-host for the Prolibshow. I don't have next week's shows planned out yet, but it's always something politically themed. So definitely check that out. You can follow me on Twitter, Prolibshow. I'm always on there. But most importantly, if you are able to give even $1 to Puff's GoFundMe, please do it. He really, really needs the help. Puff's one of my patrons. I adore that man. I felt very lucky that I was able to come here tonight and talk about this. And Puff, I'm so sorry about what happened, man.
I just appreciate it, man. I consider you like a friend, man.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
And you actually came, and John put this together. Colorado showed up out of nowhere.
And that's the other thing. I wanted to thank you, John, for putting this together and organizing this. I know it's a lot of work. I do 3 shows a week, so I understand how much work it is to put a show together, and you did it, man. And
I wasn't even a question. When Kyle reached out to me, there was only one answer.
Yep, he hit the ground running. It was crazy. He is sharing it on page on Facebook. He hit up all these people, and I was scared to share it on Twitter like he did, where he tagged people and everything. I'm so shy about asking for help, but he was like, "Nope, this guy needs help. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna bug people, man." And he did. He just kept sharing it.
Well, and we don't have to stop here. I put a few moments ago, and I don't want to hold you up any longer if you need to go, Ethan. But thank you so much for being here, and stay as long as you want. But I just wanted to get my goodbye in before you dipped out there.
Yeah, I am gonna, because I want to call her before she goes to sleep. But Colorado, it was awesome meeting you, man.
Yes, likewise.
And, great conversation. Chat, thank you guys for being awesome and having great questions and great things to talk about. I adore every single one of you. Follow me and subscribe to me and all that chilly stuff.
And I will get everybody's information in a pinned comment below the video here once it posts. Thanks again, Ethan.
Sure.
And I was just saying that so tomorrow at noon, I'm going to be on a Raging Atheist channel. And we will continue promoting Puff's GoFundMe tomorrow as well, and at 4:00 on the Raging or on the Amateur Conversationalist, my channel, we'll be talking to Nick Soutter as long as he worked out his computer problems, and we'll continue promoting it. So if you do share what's going on, with Puff, tell folks to come check those broadcasts out. And tomorrow on a Raging Atheist, me and Nakasuchi are going to be joined by Faye, the Most Gracious.
Cool.
She is an ex-Muslim, and she is just one powerhouse of a human being.
She is. I follow her on Twitter, I believe. I think that's where I see her stuff. But yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, Anger Spread Thin is her tag, the actual tag. But yeah, the name, like my Twitter, is that so? But my name is Amateur Conversationalist. But so,
and the only thing I ask is, other than John, if anybody's got any channels, they're willing to let me put my ugly mug on and shill to try to get some help. Just hit me up on my Twitter at Puff the Bong. It's just, oh my god. So just hit me up and everything will be good. If you can't get a hold of me, you can always contact my Twitter representative at Progressive Liberal.
Prolib.
At Prolibshow. He will forward any non-negative comments to me. Any negative comments will be immediately forwarded to the round file.
Yes.
But we're gonna let him go. I just want to say thank you for being just being here. You
Sure, man.
lended your support. It's awesome.
Got you back.
And everybody that come and helped out, man, this is amazing, man. Really, this is awesome. It's pretty dope, and it gives me hope because, man, I'm telling you, a couple days ago, I was freaking out. When I started to put this out, until I got a hold of John and Prolib and people James and everything like that, it really wasn't getting any traction. They started getting some traction. So please, even if you can't donate $1, even if you can just take the link, I'm going to drop the link in there. If you can just take that and share that out, that'd be, more than enough for me because, just if we can get in front of more mugs, then maybe, if I can hit that number, then I'll be happy and I'll shut it down and I'll pay them and I can move on with my life and I'll go thank people. I think we're going to try to put together some kind of raffle. I don't know what I can do other than bring up random facts and dance like an idiot on camera, but we'll try something.
From Ansgar, that they did that quite a bit. They had some stuff that they raffled off, and I think
so. Maybe if I can shill to some of these creators, I can promise them my time or something.
How about if you reach your goal and everybody contributes that you'll dance, naked except for wearing a thong and two pasties.
I'll wear that. The lime green thong up over my shoulders.
Yeah, with a couple pasties with those twirly things on it. That's perfect. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Ooh,
look,
Stop it.
I don't want to see that.
Well, you don't have to. I'll send you a video where it's all blurred out.
I'm poking out my mind's eye. Ow.
So and again, he had to leave us, but thanks
you,
to
Ansgar.
Ansgar
Thank you. Yes,
too, man.
yes, thank you.
And Colorado Biker Prep, are you a content creator?
All right,
Yes,
I'm talking out, guys. I'll see you later.
All right, see
Goodbye.
you.
All right.
All right, I'm here. Oh boy. Yeah, actually, I am a content creator. Actually, I've been a content creator. I have several channels, one of which is for work, which I do not disclose for obvious reasons for this. But I've had a couple. I've been on YouTube ever since basically 6 months after it started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got Mountain Photo Man, MTN PHOTOMAN, which there's not a damn thing on it anymore, really. But Colorado Biker Prepper on YouTube. I've been doing that one for quite a while now. Some of it is preparedness stuff. Some of it is some cooking stuff. I used to be a professional chef, and I'm a motorcycle tour guide. So there's a lot of motorcycling videos on there as well.
You're a brave man.
Why is that?
Man, I've driven through Colorado 3 or 4 times, man. And those mountain passes, they shiver me timbers, man.
Yeah, you should try them at 80 miles an hour.
Yes, well, I was doing the best my car could do with the wrong distributor, and it was little naturally aspirated car, so it was wheezing up the mountain.
Yep.
But I get up to a thing, and it's like warning, storm warning in effect.
Yeah.
This side of the mountain, it's fine. I didn't think about a tunnel's going through a mountain. This side is fine. I come out the other side, I couldn't see past my hood. I'm like,
it's a blizzard.
God.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, this Acura Integra better hold up.
Yep.
So I just subbed your channel.
Thank you,
Colorado Biker. And is there a shorter name we can call you?
You can call me just Colorado, or you can call me Bear.
Bear. Okay.
That's my biker name is Bear.
Oh, okay, Bear. I like that. Yeah. And I got to ask you, I just went to your channel, and we will get this link. So Colorado Biker Prepper, that's the main channel you would want as far as putting the description or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, put that one up there. And I also I've been active in the community or in debate communities and all that for a long time. I mean, I've debated Darwin's deity or whatever the Darth Dawkins, what's his name, Nephilim Free. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Ken Ham, or not Ken Ham. Kent Hovind. I've been involved with Steve McRae. Has been a buddy of mine for a long time. I've been doing a lot of this stuff for quite a while, and I love good discussion and good debate that should be civil. and respectful, but
Well,
still.
So here's the thing: you've got my email now. If there's, I mean, if any channels that you want, put in I'm going to put a pinned comment with everybody's information, including Puff's GoFundMe. So if you have other channels besides the Colorado Biker Prepper,
I'll let you know. But that's the only one I do. I really don't do social media a lot.
Right.
I did Twitter for like 6 months, and I did a couple others like, what is that? Instagram and all that. And I have to do it for work to promote my business, to promote our business. And that's enough for me. And I don't do it unless I'm doing it for work, because I found out that I was so much happier when I got rid of all that shit. It just, no, I got tired of social media. Only thing I like doing is YouTube, and that's because of discussions and debates like this.
Right.
So
hey, and so the other thing is now that you've been on with me here, and I've got your email, look for future invites. I don't know how much you do this, but I've got like a list of folks that I.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, thank you. I appreciate the invites. I will tell you that I am going to be leaving. I'm going out on another tour. I'll be gone until October 27th.
Oh, okay.
So I've got another 5,000 miles to ride in the next 3 weeks. So,
and a Raging Atheist channel, right?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I do once a week on his channel too, so you might end up with an invite to come on something over there.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, I'm an atheist agnostic, kind of. Well, yeah, I'm an atheist, but I kind of also lead towards an agnostic kind of position.
Right.
I'm also a huge skeptic, and just to give you a little bit of a background, I've got about 200 college credit hours in journalism, and I have a degree in photographic science, not photographic art, photographic science. Optical theory and design was one of my specialties. So,
well, and then the nonsense question I wanted to ask you,
sure,
is like I said, I just went over your channel and subbed, and I just, after seeing the avatar on your channel, are you the Punisher?
Yeah, I'm not going to disclose that at this moment.
Okay, all right, because I always
a motorcycle.
Because I thought I always thought Von Helton was the Punisher, but
oh no.
No.
Von Helton's only punishing them go-gurts.
See, I don't have any military experience or anything like that, but I also studied Budo Taijutsu and Kenjutsu for about almost 30 years now. So
look, here's the thing, Kyle. When he eats that go-gurts, it's on air. It's us that he's punishing.
It's the slurp. It's the slurping sound.
Oh my god! My question: have you ever debated the human manatee?
No. What is he?
Brett Keane.
Oh, Brett. Oh my god, no.
The manatee.
Oh yeah. The guy who never gets off his bed, and yeah. I would put him more akin to Jabba the Hutt.
Well, no, he would ever have to have a woman around him to have interchange.
Yeah,
well, I don't know why everybody calls me a manatee. I really smell people call me a manatee.
Brett,
please go over to Amazon and check out my wish list.
Brett Keane has some horrible epistemology. His epistemology is just, I couldn't believe it when I talked to him. I mean, I've gone through the list of just about G-Man. I've had discussions with G-Man and jungle jargon and all of these. Yeah. That's why
jargon is the word. Jill, Jesus is Lord. Did you ever talk to him?
Yep. That's why I have a tinfoil helmet. Okay. And I don't have it in here. Unfortunately, I left it in the kitchen. I've also got a pair of oven mitts with the Punisher
face palming.
Yeah. With the Punisher logo on it. But it's not a tinfoil hat. It's a tinfoil helmet, because I got to keep myself from hurting myself from banging my head against my desk sometimes. Okay. I mean,
well, look, with the list of people that you rattled off that you've had debates with, I think you better maybe not only wear the helmet, but put padding on your desk.
Because
some of those people.
My desk is tempered glass, and there's a dent in it. Okay. All right. So, no, I've been doing it a long time. I really, like I said, I'm also like a big skeptic, and I've kind of gotten away from the prepping community a lot because you want to talk about getting into woo and conspiracy theory and all that. And that's one thing I'm going to concentrate on this winter. I only work my job. I'm only out on the road for about 7 months of the year. And then the other 5 months I'm trapped at home doing work to start for the next year. So when I do that, but when I'm home in the wintertime, I'm on a lot of these discussions and stuff like that, or I'm watching them all the time. So I'll be a lot more active this winter basically after about December 2nd or 3rd.
So just real quick, yeah, Riley, I feel sorry for you that you had to talk to Jungle Jargon. And,
oh my goodness!
And Mr. Macabre, I don't know why you're putting that out there that I'm not a real Christian, because you know all manatees are Christian.
No true Scotsman.
Yeah. Yeah, but Mr. Macabre makes a good point. You know, Brett Keene's views on a variety of topics, you know, go with the wind, whichever way the wind is blowing, it seems. But so look, we're going to wrap this up. We've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I hope this was beneficial to Puff's GoFundMe. Again,
very much so.
Donate to Puff.
Yes, and please share it with people. Share the link with people. That's as powerful as giving and donating to the cause. You're going to exponentially grow your donation by sharing it on social media. We all know how this works, folks. So everybody's information will be in a pinned comment, after this post is a video at some point tomorrow morning when I get up. And then as far as Puff's GoFundMe link, it is in the description already, and he just recently posted it in live chat. So how about you, Puff? I know you usually when I give you this opportunity, you don't content create yourself, but you always seem to have a couple good channels to point towards to point people towards.
Yep. Okay. So if you like astronomy, but you want to know like some of the cool unknown stories, look up Parallax Nick. He's very, very, very interesting. He tells some of the backstories you never know about astronomy, how it happened, the interplay, the feuding, the childishness of some of these astronomers back in the day. It's interesting, very interesting. And he's also got a way with words that is captivating. So he's pretty good. And he's very minimal on the musical score. It's pretty good stuff. Other than that, also check out Democracy at Work. I'm not saying, but I'm saying maybe there's other ways than just pure capitalism. That's it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right too, because I wish we were more to the side of not pure capitalism. But even when you look at our system, these people that scream about capitalism, our system is not unfettered capitalism, okay? But it's too far to the unfettered side. But even our system has aspects of socialism in it. So get over it, folks. It's already there and should be in there a little bit more. Unfettered capitalism is barbarism, really. But that's enough of my preaching. So thank you so much, everybody. Join us, Colorado Biker Prep, Puff, Ansgar, Ethan, and please get the word out about Puff's GoFundMe. And you can find me back here next Saturday, and you can find me on Knox channel, Raging Atheist on Wednesdays, and on my channel on Sundays. And I will be making an appearance on Raging Atheist tomorrow as well. So thanks everybody for being here, and everybody have a great night.